My team, along with Sam Watson and his team, we're going to stand together and fight this disease. I've come this way before, traveled through the open door, circumstances navigated the path, and life happened all so fast. No, they got no me. Sometimes you see, I know we couldn't make it. Even when I'm off beat, I still land on my feet, and nothing can shake me, cause I know life took a hold on. I never. This is where I am destined to be. I'm not ready to give up. I believe in the miracle of life. Life's a play with no rehearsal. Learn quickly, they'll come for your role. Games get played, can't take it personal, cause the devil is a liar. Telling you the truth, hey. It's all in what you do, hey. Some things you gotta do, hey. It's fight for millions, take a second, see the blessing in it. But much expected, much is given. When I made the living, now I'm giving back to children. Never let the power come first before your happiness, yes. You can be the best if you go the distance. Mix a little sweat with your persistence. You know that the best things are never instant. Just shine, let them see your brilliance. Get up, open up your eyes now. It's the moment of truth. No backing down. We're bringing it through like oh. For the children, it's a given. You gotta give it, be a blessing.
This my personal statement. Run the game like I'm aces. Learn and develop patience, determined to be the greatest. Yeah, bobbing and weaving, they changing up like the seasons. Indigenous to the grind, so I do it for all my people. Jabbing the competition, back up against the ropes. You fighting for recognition. I'm fighting just to promote equality where we lack it. While cancer slowing our road, I'm confident we'll make it. We focus on common goals. Yeah.
Give back, give love, giving something away. Never give up, stand tall to fight another day. 2 toes, 2 feet, I stand on the ground. I'm gonna wrestle and fight this final round. Life's a break for no rehearsal. Learn quickly, they'll come for your role. Games get played, can't take it personal, cause the devil is a liar. Telling you the truth, hey. It's all in what you do, hey. Some things you gotta do, hey. I'm gonna share all that I have and give to those in need. We back in the building. What's up, Utah? What's up, San Diego? What up, Eric Gomes, Birdman? Appreciate you. Southside Tone, Jeff Smith, Nathan, Eric. What's up, Anthony? Mississippi, KJ. What it do? I am J. Lou, man. Thank you guys for coming in, man. You guys are power on in here. You're like, man, we went live. Y'all getting the notifications. I appreciate it. We're going to play this trailer, and we jumping into the show.
What?
I said Malcolm alleged that some of Elijah's women were underage secretaries, and can you expound on that?
Yeah, well, I guess they were, because they were there. I seen them myself. It's all true.
Baby, messenger. You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
Man, at least 15, y'all. Welcome to the show. Click the link in the description box, man. We gonna rock and roll, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, man. I appreciate the well wishes. I'll say this. I appreciate you coming in, Mr. Glazier. And I mean, I kicked COVID, but man, and you know, I believe why I did, taking care of myself, man. You know what I mean? And I really, it was just like a common cold. I still have like, but I didn't get none of the symptoms, like loss of taste, loss of sound, loss of this. It was just like a cold. And I had one day where I was like Saturday where I was like, oh damn, but outside of Saturday, it was just fine. I was just sitting waiting on a negative test. You know what I mean? I couldn't leave the room, couldn't touch my kids. I was sending beat signals to Lincoln in the room next door. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, we're gonna jump into the show, man. I just want to say thank you. I read all the comments, I got all the DMs, the emails, the text messaging, the phone calls. Thank you guys. So I appreciate you, man. And we're gonna deep dive into racism and boxing on this show, man. And we're gonna open up the lines much early. As soon as Rick gives his intro, we're gonna open up the show to the callers and we're gonna take a deep dive into racism. How about that? What's up, man? How you doing?
My biggest concern is with you, Fred. I'm glad you're back with us and you're standing on 2 feet again instead of on your back. And I'm glad you're smiling again because, there's nothing to smile about the COVID. You might call it like a common cold, but in the meantime, it's still COVID. You can't, you had a common cold, you could you could be next to your kids and your wife. With COVID, you can't be. So it's way more serious than a common cold.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the point I wanted to make was we got background noise. That's you somehow. You got a feed. Yeah, that's you. Your sound is distorted. Okay, maybe. Okay, it's gone now. Yeah, but in addition to your thoughts, I definitely don't want to devalue, especially the people that lost their lives. But, I do want to acknowledge if you take care of yourself, but based off of the one-on-one information that I have myself, I think you'll be fine. I believe you'll stand a better chance. Because I didn't spit up phlegm. I didn't spit up nothing. Because 30 days prior to me catching COVID, I was pretty clean. No dairy, no stuff like that. So even when you get that congestion, nothing really came up, so
yeah, but Fred, we knew you were going to be all right because only the good die young.
Oh man. So I'm not going to your crew. No, I'm not a bad guy nor a wise guy.
I know.
So, but yeah, so
Fred, busted chops. That's all.
Yeah, I know, and that's what we do in the shop. So, Racing, do you think it is? Come out and come back in, Mr. Glazier. Come out and come back in. It is your feet because I'm hearing you twice. Yeah, garlic definitely helps too. Cayenne pepper, all that good stuff. He's gonna go out and come back in. All that good stuff, man. So start taking care of yourself. And it seems like it's going to be this time next year, it's gonna be like herd immunity. I think it's gonna be a lot. Yeah, Joe Pesci, right? So but yeah, man, we're gonna dive into this, man. Terrence Crawford, racism in boxing, and he has a very different vernacular than I do because he's on the business side and I come from the fan journalist side. So it'll be a good. Let's see how this works now. All right, we're gonna start. Is there racism in boxing, by the way?
If there is, I haven't seen any. Now, the one exception, I haven't seen it or experienced it, but I will say this: the biggest pay-per-view matches, that are non-heavyweight matches of all time, have really been between fighters of Mexican descent, Mexican nationals, Mexican Americans versus fighters from Puerto Rico, or Puerto Rican, Puerto Rican national type fighters. Okay. And so those are the biggest, but that's not racism. That's just common sense in boxing, because Hispanic is a huge fan base for boxing, and Mexican people and Puerto Rican people are huge boxing fans. So that's a natural rivalry, but I wouldn't call that racism.
So would that be labeled as protected monetization?
I think it's called capitalism in America.
Capitalism in America. That's interesting. So Pernell Whitaker getting a draw against Chavez.
That was strictly that was a BC thing. It had nothing to do with boxing, racism, or anything like that. The WBC would protect the Mexican fighter over any fighter. That's just the way they are. They're a Mexican-based organization. That's how that worked. Pernell Whitaker, his people should have known that. I mean, to go into the lion's den like that and have that happen, I blame his people. I don't blame Chavez, obviously. I don't blame Whitaker. I blame his people. So really? That's just what the facts are.
You don't think the bias towards Chavez is racially motivated? You said it's a BC issue. So
it's a WBC thing. It's a Mexican organization. He's a Mexican champion. I mean,
that's exactly what I'm saying. Are they racially biased towards Mexican?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I would say the WBC is, but not boxing as a general rule, is what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, when you were talking about racism, I thought you were talking about like the fighters themselves, or the promoters, or the managers and stuff. And that answer is no. But the WBC, just like the WBA, favors fighters from South America and Central America. Look what happened with Michael Fox earlier this year, fighting that fighter from, I don't know, Venezuela or wherever. The WBA is a Venezuelan-based organization. You remember that mess?
Yeah, that was.
Well, that's an organizational thing. That's nothing to do with the overall gist of boxing. That's the WBC, the WBA. It's just what happens. The good part about the IBF, the WBA, is they're not like that. The IBF has a lot of top executives that are Black and Hispanic, and they are not racist, and nor is the WBO, is based in Puerto Rico, and they don't favor the fighters from Puerto Rico over any other fighters. So it's basically limited, to my opinion, to what was a WBC thing at that point in time, 20, 30 years ago. And the WBA, obviously, currently it's still happening.
Do you think the reason why they're in other countries is to protect themselves from U.S. legislation and stuff like that? Is that the goal?
No.
Why are they in other countries? Why?
Because they started there. The WB started in Mexico. The WBA started in Venezuela, or maybe Panama. It might have started in Panama, but I know it's down there somewhere. And the WBO started in Puerto Rico back in the 80s with Pepe Cordero, and the IBF started in New Jersey with Bobby Lee, because that's where he was from.
Yeah.
But see, there's a misconception.
Right.
Whether you are foreign based, okay, if you are sanctioning fights in America, you are under the legislation and the legislation powers and the investigation powers. The investigation powers would be the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office, and of course the legislation would be the U.S. Congress, the U.S. Senate. So they are because once they sanction fights in the United States, they're subject to our laws. So where they're located has nothing to do with it.
Okay, gotcha. Rod says he watches your tweets. He says racist undertone for sure.
Well, it's utterly ridiculous. Okay, I mean, that's a ridiculous statement. There's no racial undertones. I mean, like I said last week when I was on your show, one time I tweeted out that I like Crawford over Spence. And the guy says, "You're racist." I says, well, why am I racist? He says, well, you're voting for the white man's fighter, not the black man's fighter. Talking about Arum and Heyman. It's just ridiculous. Another time I said I was Fury was going to beat Wilder, and I got accused of racism there. Okay, and what am I supposed to say? That Wilder was going to win? My professionalism is at stake here. People listen to my opinions. They bet on my opinions. So what am I going to give them? Bad information? I mean, Fury was going to win the fights, and he did. Mm-hmm. So I stand by my track record as far as that goes. You know, mm-hmm. I want to touch on something because I looked into some things since I was last on the show.
Yes,
a week ago. And I want to thank you for that opportunity. And the 3 hours and 5 minutes was a great time had by all, I believe, including myself.
5 minutes. Yeah, it was 3 hours.
Including myself. Mm-hmm. Thank you. You said to me that Cameron Duncan used an expression that I'd never heard of, NBF, no black fighters.
Yes.
Okay. I want to tell you, and I told you last week, when you asked me what I thought of Cameron Duncan, I said the next time he tells the truth, it'll be an historic moment in American history. Uh-huh. Right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you what a liar he is right here on your show right now. Okay. In the 1990s, he brought Bruce Trampler, the matchmaker, Top Rank, 3 black fighters that he signed immediately. There was no hemming and hawing, nothing. Signed them up. They all became world champions. Their names are Stevie Johnston, WBC lightweight champion, mm-hmm. Freddie Norwood, WBA featherweight champ,
down there,
and IBF and unified welterweight champ Corey Spinks. That was in the 90s. Then in the 2010s, okay, and those fighters were around a long time with Top Rank. Then in the 2010s, the same guy, Cameron Duncan, brought him Terrence Crawford and Tim Bradley.
Right.
All 5 of those fighters were black. There was no hesitation in anybody, because I looked into this, okay? There was no hesitation in anybody's behalf to sign those fighters. Currently, right now, out of 56 fighters on the Top Rank roster, 18 of them are black. Okay, Shakur Stevenson being a world champion, Jared Anderson, up and coming top heavyweight, and multiple fighters. Okay, that with potential. Well, here goes. They signed every single male Olympian this year. Okay, from the Olympic class, and every one of them was black except one was a Mexican American. Okay, so this NBF that I never even heard of, and the reason I never heard of it because it doesn't exist. If it would have existed, I would have heard of it. But it does not exist at Top Rank. Okay?
Yeah.
Those are the facts. I just gave them to you. If you have questions or any of your the listeners have questions, I'd be glad to answer them concerning that particular area, because those are all facts I just gave you. So, again, Cameron Duncan has proved what he is, a liar.
A liar. We'll get back to that. I want to get jumping. Boxing is very racist without a question. Blind to it.
I'm not blind to it. It's there, but it's not boxing overall. There are certain little situations that are racist. Okay, but it's not boxing as a whole. Boxing's not racist. There are situations that get encompassed, that get blown out of proportion. Occasionally, some of them are not race related. Okay, some of them are judges don't like the style of this fighter. They want a fighter that's more aggressive, not a fighter that moves around a lot. They want a puncher, not a boxer. That has nothing to do with racism. That's style. People conceive it as racism in their mind because the Mexican is a fighter that moves forward. Okay, where the black fighter normally moves left to right, right to left. And they box more. Styles.
How about the whole system itself? Is it biased based off of what brings in? Is it fair, or do you think like the system is biased towards what brings in the promoter and manager the most money?
The answer, I'm not sure exactly what the question is. I'm getting the gist of it, but basically speaking, is a promoter would sign somebody up that's purple, okay, lime green, okay. It doesn't matter if the fighter is a good fighter. He makes good fights. He's an attraction. All those things, or at least one out of those three things, they're going to sign him up. Unless, of course, they have a manager who tries to outmanage himself and is a pain in the ass. Then a lot of promoters say, "Well, I'm not going to deal with that manager. I don't need that aggravation. We don't need that," and then they don't sign the fighter. But racism, as far as that goes, they don't care. A promoter's about capitalism. They're about green money, and it's about capitalism. That's the bottom line. They don't care what color they are. That's utterly ridiculous. Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question, Fred?
Let's just have a conversation. You're not even here to be interviewed.
Right. Just if a car dealer came to you, okay, and said to you, okay, the white ones, the black ones, the red ones are selling really well, but this brown one nobody wants. I'm going to give you $1,000 off on that car if you buy that one compared to the other ones. Doesn't that happen, Fred? It happens.
Yes.
It's no different than boxing. People want to see real fighters fight. They don't care what color they are. There's no bearing on it. I mean, listen, Muhammad Ali fought Joe Frazier. The list goes on and on. Everybody in the world watched.
Right.
Didn't have to be a white fighter or a Hispanic fighter in there. The world watches.
Right.
Just let you know, the biggest draws in the history of boxing have all been black. Going back to Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. The list goes on and on and on. The biggest draws in boxing history have been black. Think about it.
Oh, I know.
Floyd Mayweather. The list goes on. Marvelous Barber Hagler, Tommy Hearns. All black.
Yeah.
Why would promoters be racist against black fighters? They've been the biggest draws.
I want to get the caller in 815. What's up?
Yeah, I just want to find out. I just want to ask him a question.
Yes.
Sure.
Now, there's not the past. Now, which people are more getting attention from TV and all? That's what I want to know. Is which color that draw people are watching them a lot? I just want to know that.
Well, I didn't hear it. What was the question? I'm sorry.
I said now, from today going, which fighters that they are more drawn to TV? TV people like to watch.
Well, the boxing section, the most population watches boxing today are Hispanics. Okay, and so and the most fighters we have in America today are Hispanics. So I would say more people are watching Hispanics because more Hispanics are watching boxing and more Hispanics are fighting.
And then which fighters who are pay-per-view draw now, this time, now?
Obviously, Canelo Alvarez is the biggest draw.
And then?
Thank you. Love you.
And then how many black? I just want to know, Canelo Alvarez and who?
Believe it or not, probably, except his last pay-per-view bomb because of the time of year, but probably Jake Paul, as crazy as it sounds.
And then how many draws also?
Yeah, when Canelo can do 750, 800,000 buys on pay-per-view, not even fighting a superstar, just fighting a regular guy. So he'd be your biggest draw today.
No, so you tell me all the black fighters, they are not draw.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, but that's what I want to know. The black fighters, how many of them?
Well, it was Floyd Mayweather, but he's not fighting anymore. So I don't know who. In other words, the only draw on pay-per-view right now really is Canelo. That's it, and Jake Paul, but he's a novelty act. Nobody else is a draw.
So Tank David is not draw, eh?
Who?
Tank David.
No.
And are you talking about the kid from Texas or aerospace? Also, it's not draw.
Not a real draw. Not what you call a pay-per-view draw. No.
And Tennis Crawford also no, eh?
No.
Okay, that's what I just want to find out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
We got Batman coming in. What's up, Batman?
Hey, Fred. Hey, Mr. Glacier.
And good luck
How are
on the
you?
weekend, big homie. This Saturday, January 22nd. You know what time? You know where everybody gonna be in the barbershop. We're gonna be in front of that. We're gonna find a way to watch Showtime and support Gary Russell, man. What's up?
Yeah, man. He gonna do his thing. But Mr. Glacier, I want to know this. I mean, y'all was just talking about pay-per-view draws. But when I go back and look at the pay-per-view numbers of Oscar De La Hoya, well, none of them pay-per-view draws unless he was fighting somebody. Like a good.
Every time he fought on pay-per-view, he fought somebody really good. That's why he was making, his $20 million and plus fight back then.
I mean, he had to have a good opponent for it to be great numbers.
Every opponent he had was very good on pay-per-view. Every single one of them, to be honest with you. There wasn't a bad one.
I mean, his first three, he did three something. Then he did 220. I looked at the numbers. His first big pay-per-view was when he did his pay-per-view was Pernell Whitaker. He did 700,000. Then
no. He was on pay-per-view way before that.
No, Pernell Whitaker was his fourth pay-per-view. He did.
Fourth. You said his first. Okay, his fourth. Okay.
I said his first big numbers was Pernell Whitaker. Then it dropped back down. Then he fought Chavez. It dropped down to 500. Then his first million.
Well, hold it. You got something misconceived. The first Chavez fight with De La Hoya was on closed circuit, not on pay-per-view. That was in June.
It's on his Wikipedia. You can go on his Wikipedia.
It's not. Listen. You're going to argue with me. It was on closed circuit. Okay, the first fight was on closed circuit, 96. You're talking about the second fight. Let's not confuse issues here.
No, I'm just saying the numbers. I'm talking about the pay-per-view numbers.
Okay. You said the first time they fought. I said it wasn't the first time they fought. It was the second time. The first time was on closed circuit.
I apologize, sir. The first time they fought on pay-per-view,
no, they did not. The first time they fought on closed circuit. You're talking about the second fight. Okay.
All right, this is what I'm saying. The first time they fought on pay-per-view, that's the second fight. So his numbers went back down to 500. He went to 500,000 pay-per-view buys.
Well, because he already had stopped the guy in 4 rounds. That's why. The only reason why he fought him again was because he was the number one mandatory contender.
So I want to know why, like over at Bob stable, whereas though right now, like when it's time, like with the Valdez and Shakur fight, he wasn't trying to get Shakur that fight at first, but now with this lawsuit coming out,
you're incorrect. That fight was proposed a month ago to each fighter, and Oscar Valdez they thought didn't want it because the manager was reluctant, so they assumed Oscar. Then Oscar says, "No, I want to fight him." So that's not true. Okay, I respect you as a knowledgeable fan. I'm in the business. I'm an insider for 31 years.
That's why I'm asking you this.
Right. And I'm telling you, it was a month ago that fight was offered to the manager, and the manager was hesitated and acted like he didn't want it. And the kid said, "No, I want that fight." So once that happened, things speeded up about the week in between Christmas and New Year's. And despite the fact that most guys at top-ranked executives were on vacation, it was all done via cell phone. Nobody was really in the office.
Yeah, but that ain't what but that's what Bob was saying. I'm going off what Bob was saying because Bob was trying to give him Burchell. Bob was throwing Burchell this way at first.
Burchell can't make 130 pounds. So that's not true. He can't make it anymore. That's why he looked so bad in the last fight. He's going to have to fight at 35. He's talking about 30. Nobody's going to put him in a 30-pound fight again.
Okay.
I don't believe that.
And then I want one more question. How is Gary Russell soft?
You what?
I want to know. Last week you said Gary Russell was soft.
Sold?
Soft.
Soft. He's from Baltimore, man. He got that.
I'm from DC. I'm not from
I'm
Baltimore.
sorry. Man,
Okay, so
I'm from Cali,
what's
man.
the
I don't
word?
know the difference.
Okay, what's the word? What spell the word?
Soft. S-O-F-T.
He was soft?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. I didn't say that. If that's the way it was, the way you heard it, it's incorrect. What I said was a guy who fights once a year gets soft. Okay. He doesn't have a regular schedule. Okay.
Because you know they try and take the title from him and make him go away, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, listen, I'm not going to judge what they're doing internally. I don't know. I'm not close to the situation, so I can't tell you that.
No, I'm telling you that. I'm close to the situation. I'm telling you that. They trying to make him go away.
Okay. Well, who's they? Al Heyman?
I mean, Floyd Mayweather. I'm gonna say Floyd. I ain't gonna say Al Heyman.
Floyd. Okay. There you go. Same thing. Al Heyman and Floyd are the same thing in reality.
Yeah. But man, I mean, all right, so what you think about Earl Spence?
About what part of Earl Spence? You mean that he was in a car accident?
Nah,
the eye?
I'm talking about the fighter. I ain't talking about the person.
He was before the accident. Spence and Crawford was a 50-50 fight. Now I think between the accident and the eye situation, I think that he's fallen apart, and I believe that Crawford beats him.
All right, but to me, Crawford never been in a competitive fight since. I mean,
did you ever think? Did you ever think he's that good? That's why he hasn't been in a competitive fight. Does that make sense?
No, I think Bob was too cheap to
too cheap.
Yeah, too cheap to get him real competition. That's what I think.
Okay. Well, your opinion is your opinion.
Yeah, and he saved Manny Pacquiao when Terrence Crawford. He could have been made Terrence Crawford.
No, the reason why that fight wasn't made was because what's his name, Freddie Roach and Pacquiao's wife told Bob, "We don't want that fight. We don't care what Manny says. We don't want that fight."
But that ain't how Bob put it out there. I mean, he should have put it out there that Manny Pacquiao ain't want to fight. He put it out there like he saved Manny Pacquiao.
Well, obviously, they felt that he was saving Manny Pacquiao. Freddie Roach and Pacquiao's wife. So it's two people felt that way.
No, I'm just saying the way Bob put it to the public, like he saved Pacquiao from Terrence Crawford. Because he was so much friends with him. This is what he said. I mean, don't quote me.
Well, then you got to respect the human part of Bob Arum, don't you?
Man, you still put him in. I mean, one Jeff Horn a dangerous fight. Jeff Horn was dangerous, wasn't he?
Jeff Horn was dangerous. What's his name? What's his name mopped the floor with him? Crawford.
Yeah, Crawford mopped the floor with him, and I think Pacquiao beat him for real. But
I didn't think so. I thought the other guy won. I thought Horn won. So did a lot of people in the business. The reason why there was such a public outcry because Teddy Atlas went crazy on TV and said it was a robbery when most people that were in the business didn't think it was a robbery. Then he tainted everybody's head that was listening to him.
Nah, I looked at the fight. Pacquiao was more cleaner punches. Jeff Horn was wrestling more. He was doing more wrestling than punching. So I thought Pacquiao clearly won the fight, just like I thought Pacquiao clearly won the first Bradley fight.
Hey, the judges in Vegas have been bad for years. The commission doesn't do anything about it. You can't blame Bob Arum for that. He's asked.
I don't blame Bob for that.
Okay.
know, I just, you know, I think all them guys need to get together and make all these good fights, because there's a lot of good fights out here. They need to stop this like this girl type shit they doing with this promotion shit. They need to
Al Heyman's been doing this for years. He was supposed to make.
Man, Bob did it first.
You know, he did it first.
Bob and De La Hoya started it first. Don't say Al Heyman. Bob when De La Hoya.
How did Bob and De La Hoya start it? De La Hoya fought everybody that challenged him.
No, I'm talking about this promotion thing. Not everybody with this. Not the promotional companies not working together.
Okay, well, Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum have done a lot of fights in recent years of unifications and eliminators and world title fights. So that's not true. Okay.
No, I know
De La Hoya hasn't done it for another reason. Okay, it's not okay. It's because he's a smaller company and he can't afford to lose any of his attractions.
Yeah,
okay, he's not in that position.
But when he was on, when he was the attraction, when he was what, him and Bob was the only two that was above water. When Eddie Hearn wasn't even talked about.
Oh no! You're talking about Heyman when Heyman's fighters were with De La Hoya. That was Heyman. Like I said, you're going back to the same thing again. That was Heyman.
Yeah,
that wasn't De La Hoya.
I mean, De La Hoya was the front man. Heyman was the back. Was the person behind the scenes. But what I'm saying is,
and the dog and the tail was wagging the dog. So there you go.
What I'm saying is, all of them, Al, Bob. I know Eddie and Bob do business together, but everybody, all of them need to get together, and boxing to be a better place if these guys work together.
Well, yeah, but you should start with Heyman first. He's the biggest perpetrator. Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum make a lot of fights together, an awful lot.
Man,
there you go.
I mean, if you try to sue me, I mean, it'll be bad blood there too. But you know, they still work together when they got to.
Well, he sued. Arum sued him and won. So obviously he was right. It was a big settlement out of court. There's your answer right there.
But you know, they work together when they want to. When the shit works out for both of them, they need to work together for boxing, because boxing is going.
That part I agree with you. That's the first statement that you've made. I've agreed with you right there.
Yeah, because boxing going in a deep dark hole, whereas though you got this UFC shit taking over.
That's got nothing to do with it. It's a younger generation. It's a different type of audience altogether.
Mr. Smith says, anything else, Batman?
Nah, I ain't got nothing else. Fred, man, thank you, Mr. Glacier.
Oh, no worries. When you coming in, when you going to Atlantic City, by the way?
Nah, I ain't going.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
I ain't going. I just came off catching that COVID shit. I ain't trying to catch that again, man. I almost died in here.
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, they it's coming from the kids from school, man.
Yeah. Get well, Batman.
All right, Fred. Thank you, Mr. Glacier, for asking my question.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Batman. Mr. Smith says, greetings to the OG. You can read. You mind reading it?
Greetings to the OG, Rick Glazer and Fred. I agree with everything Rick mentioned. Canelo and Jake Paul are the biggest pay-per-view stars of boxing today. Peace. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. You want to know the truth, so there you go.
Do you think that they conveniently enjoy their own side of the street?
Who's that?
So Tim Bradley says PBC on their side of the street. They don't do business on this side of the street.
Of course they do. They love it because they don't have to fight the challenging fights with the other fighters, tigers and animals. So of course they do. They like it.
No, not just, no. I wasn't just. I'm talking about everybody, everyone.
No, because Top Rank wants to make those fights. Eddie Hearn wants to make those fights. Okay, Eddie Hearn called up Al Heyman for Andy Ruiz, despite the fact that I wrote him a letter and said, you don't need Andy Ruiz, go fight Trevor Bryant. But of course he didn't listen. Which he's entitled not to listen. It's his money and the zone's money. But he had a champion that got knocked out. So I mean that was up to him. But he went out and did business with Al Heyman. And Eddie and Bob do business on a regular basis. So it's all Al Heyman. He's the one that doesn't offer his fighters up to other people for other people's fights. And he doesn't let other people fight on his network, on his two networks. Just the way it is. It's an Al Heyman problem. It's not a boxing problem.
Do you think that I'm gonna hold that? We got H Money coming in. I think this H Money, this you? Show me real quick, man. Because I think this is, I don't know.
H-Money better be coming up with some money here.
Okay, good. It is him. Okay, good. All right, cool. All right, go ahead, H.
Yo, what's good? What's good? How y'all doing?
How y'all doing? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good, man. So I want to talk to Rick about Deontay Wilder, man. What you thought about Deontay Wilder's performance against Tyson Fury, and do you think he can bounce back? And after all of those cheating allegations, Mark Breland spiked his water, all of that drama, he's not saying much anymore. I don't hear him saying anything about the cheating anymore. Do you think he gave it up? And do you believe that he still? Do you think Wilder still feel like he was cheated in that second fight?
Well, you're asking me how another man feels. So I can't answer you how another man feels.
From what you see though, like you watch the interviews, right? You were a reporter, aren't you a reporter?
I feel on this date today, currently, that Tyson Fury is living rent free in Deontay Wilder's head. I honestly believe that. If Deontay Wilder thinks there was cheating going on in fights 1, 2, or 3, he's sadly mistaken. There's no cheating. The best man won. The first time the best man didn't win, it was a draw. Okay. The second fight and the third fight, I mean, the results speak for themselves. Wilder had a great 4th round in the third fight, and Fury kept getting up. I mean, it's a funny thing about Tyson Fury. Everybody's talking about how good he is, how ugly his body is, all this wacky shit. You know what they don't talk about? That this guy's got balls down to his ankles. He's got the heart the size of an elephant. They don't talk about him getting up off the deck in the 12th round when it looked like he was out cold. Okay? They don't talk about in the third fight how he was on the deck twice in the 4th round. He got up. He's got that willpower to win. And, that's got to be in Deontay Wilder's head. Deontay hit him with the best shots in those 2 fights, and the guy survived him. I didn't say he walked through him because he was down twice in the third fight. But he did a pretty good job. If you really look at this thing realistically, and you take the third fight, Wilder won 2 rounds. Okay. You take the second fight, didn't win a round. You look at the first fight, he won 3 rounds. The guys won 6 rounds over 3 fights. He got stopped in 2 of them. He got face planted in the third fight, completely face planted. Okay, he got a hellacious beating all the way up to the 11th round.
That's what I've been saying, bro. That's what I've been saying, Rick. And people think I'm crazy.
Right. I really believe he'll never be the same fighter again.
I totally agree with that. That's what I've been telling Fred. Fred, that's what I've been telling you. And people get mad at me. It's the truth. No, don't get mad at Rick.
He's going to be on the back 9. He probably should already be in the clubhouse, but he's going to be on the back 9. He'll never be the same again. There's no way you can sustain that type of beating over 2 fights, especially the second one where he got face planted. Remember, the first one, he got basically stopped on his feet, basically. Okay? The third fight there, he got face planted. That's ugly.
He went down face first. You're right about that.
That's face first means face planted. That's the same thing.
Yeah, I got you. You.
So, you don't recover from those fights physically, mentally, and emotionally. You really never. The only guy in the modern history of boxing that I can remember that got literally knocked out cold and came back from that was Lennox Lewis when he fought Rockman, okay, and Roberto Duran when he fought Hearns, and that was in like an 80. I don't even know what year it was, 84, I believe. So those were the two times in the last 40 years that I can remember that happening, where the guy came back and did anything in boxing again. So it's just so rare. If he can, he's got the power, but he won't have the power because he won't have the legs, he won't have the balance, and his motor skills will probably be depreciated. So he won't have the speed to land those same punches and the balance to generate the speed and the power to land heavy artillery.
Absolutely, man. He took a serious beating in two straight fights. Two straight fights, Fred. Can he bounce back, or is he gonna make some more excuses? Who he gonna throw under the bus next? He might throw you under the bus, Fred. You might be next. You know what I mean? You know, and I'm gonna tell you like this. Rick is right. Deontay Wilder will never be the same fighter again. Tyson Fury destroyed him, finished him. Make a toast to that, brother. You know what I mean? Make a toast to that. And I'm gonna tell you like this, Rick. What do you think about Devin Haney versus Kambosos? Is it a fight you want to see? And do you feel like Kambosos is the undisputed champion?
I'll answer that question like I answered last week. This is a weird thing. I look at Kambosos as the undisputed champion, but I also look at Devin as the WBC lightweight champ, is because the confusion was not made by the fighters. The confusion was made by the WBC. You cannot blame the WBC you cannot blame the fighters for what the WBC did. So yeah, I believe Devin is the world lightweight champ, but I also believe Kambosos is the undisputed champ. It's a weird thing because you can't blame the fighters. It's Mauricio Suleiman worded the thing wrong, and he didn't say it properly, even though he had good intent on his part. It didn't come out properly.
Fred, what about you? Do you feel like Kambosos is the undisputed champion?
No, I would definitely say Devin Haney is the WBC world champion for sure. I think the was it the franchise belt?
No, French fry belt.
French fry belt, thank you, is basically the belt that they give on Cinco de Mayo, Mexican Independence Day, Juneteenth, Floyd's next 4-rounder against a guy who don't know English, stuff like that. Those are the belts. That's what I think of, the French fry belt. For sure.
Okay,
Devin's earned it. I think
Mauricio Suleiman, he said that Kambosos was the undisputed champion, right, Fred? Is that correct?
He did. And if he says it, he's the president. So I mean,
that was Fred. That's why I'm saying what I said.
Yeah, he's in charge. Go ahead.
I consider one the undisputed champ. I still consider Devin Haney, just because what he said was confusing.
Yeah,
you agree? Do you agree with that, Fred?
Yeah, the people thinks Devin Haney. I mean, come on, man. I don't care if you pro Teofimo Lopez, you pro Kambosos, pro Lomachenko, top rank, racist, anti-racist, pro Mexican. Devin Haney has the belt, y'all. Like, I mean,
I agree.
Let's just. Devin Haney has the belt. If Mauricio Suleiman wants to acknowledge him, it's his. Let him do what he owns. Devin Haney will be the people's champ. You know what I mean? He'll get more luster behind him, but I would like to see Devin in a big fight. Tank Davis, Gary Russell. What's the guy's name? George Kambosos. Yeah. I'm not one for the undisputed unification with the fans. Well, I'm not fighting for a belt or for a thing that says I'm not worth anything. So I'm going to fight the best fight. I'm not chasing George down to Australia. I'm going to fight the best fight. Hey, Gary Russell, congratulations again. Mark something. You want to fight in May? That's where I'm at with it. Hey, Tank Davis. We got this Ali Act. Why don't you come make this money? We'll pay the 20% that you need to pay out. Come make this fight over here. You know, let's have this fight in New York. Let's have it in Vegas. That's where I'm at with it.
Okay, Fred. And yesterday, Bob Arum, he did an interview. He said, nobody knows Devin Haney in Australia. Did you see that, Fred? And Rick, what you guys think about that? He said Lomachenko is the much bigger fight in Australia. Nobody knows Devin Haney, pretty much.
He is. I agree with that. That Lomachenko and Kambosos is a much bigger fight in Australia than Devin Haney, and just what the facts are.
Well, I talked to some people in Australia. They said, Devin Haney is popular in Australia, and people are going to show up to that fight no matter who is with. If Kambosos decides to fight Loma, or if he fights Devin Haney, it's still going to be a big fight no matter what. Do you agree with that, Fred? That the Haney fight is also a big fight, and Bob is just, pretty much, talking bad about Devin Haney because that's not his fighter, and he wants that fight for Loma.
The Devin Haney and Kambosos is a big fight, but Lomachenko and Kambosos is just a much bigger fight. It's the best way to put it. More meaningful in the world of boxing.
Fred, what you think, Fred?
More bigger? Really?
Oh yeah, much bigger.
Really?
Absolutely.
How bigger? Like for real? How bigger? Like
let's put it this way. Let's put it this way to you. My two nephews are boxing fans. They buy pay-per-view. One of them's never heard of Devin Haney. We talked about it the other day. The one of them said, I heard him. I've never seen him fight. He's fighting at an app. Okay, that's in other words, not ESPN app, the Zone. They know Lomachenko, both of them. They always ask me, when's Lomachenko fighting again?
Okay,
there you go, because he fights on free ESPN.
I stand corrected. I might be wrong because 2012 was what? 2012 Olympics was what? Where? Location?
I don't know.
Where was the 2012 and 2008 Olympics? Because those were the Olympics that he won, right? 2012 and 2008. Yeah. So he may have a bigger, because Devin didn't really do an amateur route. So he may be bigger internationally when you put it all together, when you mix the sauces. But honestly, ain't nobody from Lomachenko going to Australia. Not many people from Devin are going to Australia. And what I mean by many, I mean 5,000 people ain't leaving Lomachenko country to go to Australia.
No, none of them are, but you got to remember something. The fight will resonate bigger in Australia with Lomachenko, who they know who he is, over Devin Haney. Now, I'm very friendly with the Maloney's, Team Maloney, the Jason and Andrew Maloney, which are top-ranked fighters over there. Their managers, their co-managers have been longtime clients of mine. And as they continue to be today, I supply them with sparring partners and other supplemental services. Basically speaking, is that the one Maloney brother told me when we were in Tulsa back over the summer that who would be good over Australia. This is before Kambosos even won the title. Okay, but then he was the #1 contender, and would that fight do good in Australia? He said he's talking about Kambosos and what's his name and Teofimo. Yes, it would do good. Well, what happens if Lomachenko fought over there against somebody? So he doesn't have to fight anybody from Australia, just because fact that's Lomachenko. That was his words, not mine. So I'm sorry, I didn't say that one of the Maloney's. One of the managers said it. Sorry about that. Missaid that. But this is what the facts are. Now, going to this Thomas Davis statement about the cheating, about the PEDs and all that stuff. Okay, first of all, it was never proven that Fury was never suspended. It's not on box record or anything for any PEDs. It was an allegation. That's number one. Number two is they tested for all three fights for steroids, all kinds of performance enhancing drugs, and he wasn't on. And the Fury fans and the Wilder fans and their and Wilder's never accused him of doing any peds at all. They were talking about the rumors about the spike water, the quote loaded gloves, Mark Breland going against what do you call it in the second, all kinds of stuff
He
like
called
that.
Mark Breland a snake, man. It's a whole lot of bullshit.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
No, he called Mark Breland a snake. You know, and
that's
it was a whole bunch of bullshit with the gloves, the spike water, and all that crazy shit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Anything else, H?
Man, I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys, man. Have a great night. H Money Boxing, David Morrell Jr., the future of boxing from Cuba. Watch out for this kid, and he wants to fight David Benavidez. You know, so yeah, man. I'm out, guys. Peace.
Thank you. You don't think? I think Wilder has something left in the tank. I did hear his interview where he was undecisive on coming back. I just think Fury had his number. Yes,
Fred.
Yes,
Fred.
Yes, I'm listening.
When you're thinking about coming back, it means you're thinking about retiring. You're retired.
Okay.
He might come back and fight. He'll never be the same. Just don't see it. He got shellacked. Fred. They fought. Let's see. In the first fight was 12 rounds. The second fight
he
was
won
7.
the first round. I thought he won the first fight, dog. Like
who did?
Wilder. I thought he won the first fight.
He only won 3 rounds plus the 2 knockdowns. What are you talking about?
That's 7 points right there.
No, it's not. No, it's not. 3 rounds and plus the 2 rounds, 5 points. Oh, well, 7 went the other way. There's your answer.
Fury didn't even throw no punches. He was doing like the Memphis Jive. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
We got the next coming. What's
Who's
up, Deacon?
coming at?
Deacon, what's up?
Hey, too blessed to be stressed and highly favored. What's good, Fred?
Hey, not much, man. What's up?
And what's good to you? What's up to your guest there? How you doing, sir?
Everything's well tonight. Are you from the Miami area?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm from a smaller town, but Miami is my second home. Yes.
Okay, Miami is a great place.
I fell in love with Miami since 1984.
I don't blame you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I fell in love with boxing, 1984.
Yeah. Listen, all due respect to you, sir, but I think that your statements earlier, you was missing the mark. And with the no black fighters things, what was stated, it was saying that not that Bob and Top Rank was not hiring or employing black fighters. That was not the case. We all know that he's employing black fighters.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, when you get black fighters who get to the top of the echelon, who deserve these big fights, and you got Mexican champions who are being protected by Top Rank, right? Shakur couldn't get fights. Terrence Crawford couldn't get fights. You can go on and on and on with certain guys who couldn't get fights, no matter what you say about what happened during the holidays and all this. This man been calling for this fight for a while.
Who has?
Shakur.
Okay, and there was no money yet.
Again,
now there's money. Now there's money. Shakur beat Jamel Herring, and the other guy beat Bill Sharp. Now it's a big fight. Timing is everything, my friend.
Again, sir. Again, sir. The fact remains that we watch these guys from Canelo, you name them, all these Hispanic fighters who are at the top, who are not fighting Charlo, Boo Boo Andre, on and on and on. We watch this happen. And then when you talk about black fighters are not being pay-per-view stars and all this right here, I'm going to push back on that and tell you it's all about who you.
I did not say that.
Okay.
I did not say that. I said I identified who the two pay-per-view attractions are in America. I didn't say black fighters are not pay-per-view draws. I had said earlier.
You said who was you said that these. Go ahead.
I said the biggest draws in boxing history have been black.
Canelo and the Jake Paul boy. I heard that.
No, I didn't say that. Listen to what I said. I know what I said.
Okay, go ahead.
I said the biggest fighters in the history of boxing have been black. Number one. Number two.
We're going backwards. Okay,
number
go
two. Fred asked me who the big pay-per-view draws are today. I said two guys.
Mm-hmm.
I said, as a general rule, Jake Paul's last fight didn't do well, but up until then, it did well. Okay, and Canelo Alvarez. I didn't say black fighters are not draws. I identified who the two draws were.
Okay, well, let me finish making my statement about. I heard exactly what you just said, and you said exactly what you just said, right? And I have. Okay, you said that. Now I'm finna let you hear where I'm coming from. Okay, now. I can agree somewhat with what you said, but not fully, because there's an explanation behind what's going on. When you talk about black fighters, it's about promotions. Who do you like more, right? And what I mean by that, these guys feel like, well, Mexicans got a country behind them, this, that, and the third. If you promoting somebody and telling everybody that these guys are better to promote, better to do business with, and all this right here, and then you got commentators who are on ESPN working for these companies, right? Saying that black fighters, the only way they can sell is to be a villain, to be an outcast. And then when people look at you, you the bad guy. We got to always be the bad guy, and everybody else. No, I'm not.
Who said that? Who said? You're confusing me. Who said that?
ESPN commentator. He said even Shakur Stevenson will face this in the future, where he has to play the role of the villain.
Okay, and who said it?
I forgot that. Mark Kriegel, I think is.
Mark Kriegel said it.
Okay, he may have said it. I never heard it, so I'm not familiar. Well, I don't listen to Mark Kriegel. So there's your answer.
So we get to listen to on live television straight up racism, and it's said so cavalier and so nonchalant, like it's no big deal. This is what it is. Take it or leave it. And then I heard you said your two nephews don't know Devin Haney, but they know Lomachenko. So therefore, Lomachenko is a better, is a bigger star. Sir, with all due respect, you just talking about two people in your family. They are not everyone.
Well,
okay.
If you ask, if Devin Haney walked through the center of a crowded mall, nobody would know him.
And sir, I'm going to tell you that right there is ludicrous. And that's disrespectful for you to.
When was the last time Devin Haney fought on national TV? He fights on an app. He does not fight on national TV. Lomachenko is fighting on national TV. People know him. Okay.
Can I finish? You made your point. Let me make my point.
Sure.
I think you're being highly disrespectful to Devin Haney, and I'm gonna tell you why. Let me explain why. You're being very disrespectful.
No, I'm not, because I think he's an excellent fighter. I said so on the show last week, didn't I, Fred?
You said he's a good fighter, I believe.
Said a very good fighter.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Sir,
I recognize him as a WBC champion.
That's the equivalence of you throwing a rock and hiding your hand. You give the man a compliment on one hand and tear him down on the other hand. You're saying that he's a good fighter.
Nobody knows him. He fights on an app. It's a fact.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Since you say Lomachenko is a bigger star than Devin Haney, okay, then Devin Haney is making more money than this kid. Devin Haney is 10 times to me more bigger than a Lomachenko, who have networks who are lying about his record, saying that this man has no losses. When we saw him lost in the ring, all this blatant racism goes on. They uplift one guy and tear down another group of people. This is what's going on in the sport of boxing. This is why I say that you're being very disrespectful.
What are you talking about? They say he has no losses.
Every time they put up Lomachenko's record, they hide this man lost. They got him as undefeated. And check this out.
I never saw that. I watched all the shows.
Okay, that's cool.
I don't listen to Mark Kriegel, but I do watch the shows.
Right.
I'm not into that. I'm not into that storytelling.
Right. Okay. Listen, Lomachenko didn't even have 12 fights, and you got at the time Terrence Bud Crawford with 30-something fights, with more knockouts than Lomachenko has fights. But they got him above Terrence Crawford as pound for pound number one.
Okay, but you're talking your gripe is not with me, and your gripe is not with boxing. It's with the television network.
No, I'm explaining the system to you, and the reason why black fighters are not being given opportunities to fight on pay-per-view, to fight set champions who can put them in position to be bigger stars than what they are, because we have heads on television and on social networks saying that they ain't worth for them. And they'll throw a rock and hide their hand and say, you know what, he's a good fighter, man. He's a great fighter, but he ain't worth the damn.
I never heard anybody in the business say that, as far as any executives. So I don't know where that comes, or any top guys in any of the.
Devin Haney makes more money than than Lomachenko, than George Kambosos, than Teofimo Lopez. I can go on and on and on, but he's the lesser star.
Actually, Lomachenko and Haney make the same amount of money per fight, couple million a fight. So there's your answer.
Listen, I'm gonna disagree with that, but at the same time, now I want to talk about Deontay Wilder. Let me say something to you, sir. I thought that Deontay Wilder actually won the first fight with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was doing no more than dancing around. Why you think his coach was in the corner yelling at him? And matter of fact, when I say his coach, I'm talking about Freddie Roach, not the young boy that he brought from England with him that told him to box, move, and stay away. Freddie Roach wanted him to attack Deontay Wilder, but he wasn't able to do that. You know what I'm saying? In that first fight. Matter of fact, when you add up the two knockdowns in the 3 to 4 rounds that I seen him clearly win, he wins the fight. No way he should have lost that first fight. Second fight, I felt like the man was cheated in that fight. I don't care what nobody say. Okay? And that's my opinion. My brother was cheated in that fight. And then look at the third fight. They told this man in his face, no matter what you say, we're not going to allow this man to change gloves because you don't like the gloves that he's wearing. They allowed this man to wear the same funky gloves that he wore in the second fight. And what I mean by the same funky gloves, the same tight gloves with barely anything to protect those this pure bone on bone situation. And we talk about a man who's been caught doping. Guess what? They didn't give a damn. They didn't give a damn. Now think about this. When you talk about Mexican fighters,
hold it. If all these things are true, why did Wilder's camp go through with these fights?
Because that's the man he is. He said, God damn it, let's fight. That's the man he is. That's the man he is. And when you talk about he'll never be the same again, you're right. He'll never be the same again, trusting certain type of people. But as it pertains to his heart, and you talk about comparing his heart to a cheating ass dog, how dare you, brother? How dare you get on a national, we're going to say national television, because we're going to put some respect on this barbershop thing. This we talking about national, bro. You're going to put some respect on it. And when you talk about my brother, Tyson Fury can't compare. Because had the roles been reversed, no way Tyson Fury would have fought a Deontay Wilder. This man, you talking about natural, God-gifted power. No juicing, no cheating, none of that. Straight up pure man. Ain't no way the hell Tyson Fury could ever compare. Ever. Yeah, he gonna be more than the same. Because what God put in you, can't no man take that from you, bro. So ain't no fight, ain't nothing like that could ever take away what God gifted this man with. Nothing. See, that's what layman minds fail to understand. Greater that's he that is in me, that's in this world. This man is anointed, God gifted. The type of power and the type of heart that this man possessed, you can't go in a gym and create it. You can't go in a gym and practice for it. This is God gifted, bro. Deontay Wilder is different, man. Anybody he get in that ring with, especially fighting fair on equal playing field, man, ain't nobody got a chance. Tyson Fury was knocked out in the third fight. He was counted out. The referee from the second fight, matter of fact, from the first fight. Second fight, he was totally destroyed with what went on. I didn't, man, that hurted me to my heart, bro. I can't even tell you how I really felt and what I really wanted to do behind that shit. But go to that third fight and that first fight, if you watch the count, Deontay Wilder should have won by stoppage. And not just by stoppage in the first fight, he should have won by decision. They took it from him 2 times. That's my brother. Can't nobody tell me he ain't got no heart. Tyson Fury can't compare, man. Never could compare to that black man. I wouldn't give a damn if he got up 12 times. He could never be the man that Deontay Wilder is. Hey, man, peace. I love y'all. Fred, I love my people. When I say I love my people, I put my life on the line for my people, bro. I love y'all, man. And that'll never stop. Peace out.
Appreciate you, Deacon.
Yes, sir.
Jai the Real says Fury was suspended for nandrolone.
He wasn't suspended. Leave it at that. He was not suspended. It was all allegations. It was never proved. Okay, and that's the story there. So it's not on his suspension record.
Did you do the long count? Did you see that, or did you pay attention to that at all?
What fight?
Wilder in the 4th round.
I didn't do. I wasn't paying attention to the count at all. I had my wife screaming and yelling because she was rooting for Wilder because my wife's family's from Alabama originally, so she was screaming for Wilder. So I really wasn't paying that much attention to exactly how long the count was.
Oh, okay. Man, what just happened? Like 500 people just left. I guess that's funny how it just cut off, but I guess that's the thing. What's up, Kyle? This brother preaching boxing gospel tonight. Kyle, Rick Grazier.
Hello, Kyle. Hi, Kyle.
What's going on? What's going on?
Not
Fred,
much.
I'm glad you better, man.
Yeah. Were you sick too?
I'm glad you're better. Remember, I was fucked up before that. Remember?
Before last, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You know,
Rick,
you never,
man, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Over here causing trouble, man.
Oh, now it's back.
It's a funny thing you just said that, Kyle. Because every time my wife says, "What'd you do today, honey?" My wife will come over. She goes, "I was on a podcast." Oh my! You're causing trouble again? So my wife even said that to me.
Hey, the barbershop is and we let our nuts hang over here, right? That's Rick Glazier's moniker. We let our nuts hang. So hey, you never know who's watching the show. Corey Spinks team reached out and said, they're in St. Louis. He says, tell him Corey Spinks was number 1 in the WBO mandatory to Antonio Margarito, and Bob refused to give him the opportunity. Sent him to Italy to fight Don King's IBF champion Michelle Pecorello. And then he says he being Bob Arum further did an interview with USA Today saying no way is he putting a slick black fighter in with a Mexican ticket seller. That was his reason for not making Spence Margarito.
But is that racism or is that business?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
No, it's not racism.
No, you got. Are you asking a question to
No, it's
start
not.
your
But
answer?
it's not racism. How's it racism? He's basically saying is, I've already got the champion. I've got a ticket seller. I don't need this aggravation. That's
But-
what he's saying. So
but-
it's not racism. That's business. That's business. I mean,
I'll tell you why,
it's
though.
capitalism.
I tell you why. Because he's had black fighters that were champions, and he put them in there with whoever the fuck ever. You know what I mean? He didn't say, since you're slick, slick black fighter, I'm not gonna put you in there with him. You know what I mean? Like he's known to hide some folks. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say the man's racist. I don't know the guy. I mean, he shows Fred a lot of love and respect, so I can't say he's full on racist, but he has racial bias. Let's say that. If it ain't racist, it's racial bias.
It's about business. It's not racism. Racism is a hate. There's no hate. Okay? Racism is a hate. There's no hate. It's business. He's conducting a business. That's all there is.
Listen, but so this is the thing about racism, right? He's in power. He's the power structure. He's in power. So he has the power to make different moves happen, right? So he has the opportunity to put a black fighter in there to propel him to start.
But it wasn't a matter of fact of being black. It could have been a white guy that was left-handed and slick. You guys are missing the point. He already had the champ. He didn't want to disrupt things. I don't blame him. He's not wrong.
Now, if the fighter has earned his opportunity, you understand, like maybe he had to go to Uganda, maybe he had to go to Canada.
But he just said that he sent him to fight Don King's fighter in Italy because he was number 1 in the IBF too. That's all there was. That was that. Can you guys hold on? There's a noise coming from my other room. I don't know if an alarm went off. Okay, can you hold on, guys, for 1 second?
Yeah, we here. We ain't going nowhere. So, Big Fred, man, great to see you back in full effect, my man.
I mean, I'm telling you, I was fine, man. I was sitting in my room like, God.
So, nigga, why didn't you go live from your phone then?
Because, like, I didn't have like the strength in my voice. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, so nigga, you wasn't fine, nigga.
No,
shit.
but no, I wasn't sick though. Like it's not like I was like I can't talk, but you still don't have the lung capacity. But I wasn't spitting up phlegm or anything like that neither. You know, so.
You got vaccinated, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. The vaccine does help. I mean, it don't stop shit, but it does help.
You know what else helped too? Being in shape.
That's a fact. That's a true fact.
Man, being in shape, because I was only sick Saturday. And
but I'll tell you this, Fred. I know a person that was in great shape but wasn't vaccinated that damn near died. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, but it affects everybody differently. But I'm glad you back in 100% though.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. So like when he says I'm not gonna allow a slick black fighter, I think he interjected race. You understand what I'm saying?
But it's not a hate. It's a business. It's a business thing.
Let's call it convenience. Let's call it convenience. I'll tell you why. It's because the reason why I say it's convenient, right? Because every time there's a black fighter versus a Mexican fighter, it always ends up happening like that. With Floyd, it happened with Floyd. It's happening with Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? It's just a pattern It's just a pattern. Let's say that. If it ain't racism, it's a pattern.
Right, but racism's hate. You're talking about capitalism. The issues are getting blurred here. Okay, there's no hate. Bob Arum doesn't hate black, white. Doesn't matter what it is. He's not like that at all. Matter of fact, I know something that was said. And Bob said something was about something else unrelated to race, but something else. And Bob says, "Hey, not here. Leave that alone, blah, blah, blah," to somebody years ago. I'm talking about 20 years ago. There was a waiter that was a little light in the loafers at a restaurant that we were eating at. and the waiter was a little light in the loafers, and somebody said something at the table, and Bob says, "Forget that. I don't even want to hear stuff like that."
Hey Rick, I'm not gonna lie to you, Rick. I don't know what the hell that means, my man. What is light in the loafers? You got to explain that.
Gay.
Oh, okay.
Light in the loafers. You never heard that before?
No,
Fred,
hell no.
Fred, did you know what that meant?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Well, you know, Fred is in y'all in the same circles. You know what I mean?
Fred.
No, because when
I just got a compliment.
When I appreciate that. That's clever. But when I go to I drive through Buffalo. I've never stopped. I go straight to I go straight to Canada and then go straight to Ontario and live my best life. That's what I do. But these beamings are filling up. Let's get Anthony in here. What's up, Anthony?
Man, what it do, Fred? Salute.
I appreciate
Salute,
you.
Kyle.
What's up with the big dog? How you feeling?
What's going on, Mr. Rick?
How you doing?
Man, can't complain, man. Can't complain. Man, I wanna say racism is easy to tell but hard to prove. You know, you saying it's a hate, and you're real cold with terminology and stuff like that. So I want to say, like, well, damn, no, I ain't gonna get to that. But I want to ask you, what's the procedures for promoters to promote a fighter?
They negotiate a deal and they sign a long-term agreement called a promotional agreement. And it's basically a contract that's like between 16 and 18 pages long. And everything in there is specified what the promoter's going to do, the fighter's going to do, and in the event of something that goes wrong, such as the fighter gets injured. There's things called act of God in there and force majeure. Force majeure, acts of God would be like what the COVID was, where boxing was shut down for months. There's just a lot of strong language in there that defines what everybody's role is and their minimum guarantees per fight, how many minimum fights a year they're going to have, and all kinds of other obligations, both moral and legal.
Well, I like that question. One was for my documentary. And
by the way, yeah, again, I'll get that in a
second. So, like, when it comes to Bud, for sure.
I can't hear him.
So when it come to Bud, man, like, why Bob didn't promote him as hard as he did Lomachenko? Like, what's your opinion on that?
Okay. Here's the reason. You ready? He never did the things he was supposed. He never did. Crawford never did the things he was supposed. Hello.
His phone breaking up, man. We
gotta get him out of there.
He got that. He got that singular wireless.
He'll go ahead. You can answer this question now. Go ahead.
Okay, let me answer Anthony's question. The PR staff at Top Rank sent up Terrence to be on ESPN Sports Center on many occasions and other ESPN content programming. And Terrence, just from the confines of his home, sometimes from a local ABC studio and stuff like that, and he refused to do anything to help promote himself. And he thought it was the obligation of the promoter, and he did not participate in everything. I know that I'm not singling Terrence Crawford out. Top Rank documents all those things on all those media turndowns. They have documented, not on Terrence particularly, just on everybody that fights under the Top Rank banner. They keep a running list of that. So I'm sure that'll come out when he says that Bob wasn't promoting him. I'm sure that'll come out.
I like that. That's a great. I like. Okay. So I don't know if you asked this question already. So do you think he'll win that lawsuit, or do you think it's just
Well, there's three different questions in the lawsuit. The racism is one thing. That's a no-brainer. He's going to lose that.
That's not in
Terrence
the
is gonna
lawsuit.
lose that.
They didn't put that in the lawsuit. That was just a smoke and mirror.
Well, it's in the paperwork inside the one. It's not a count in the lawsuit, but it's in the lawsuit as racism. Okay, it's the lawsuit. I think is 23 pages. I have the lawsuit.
Yeah.
So, but it's in there in wording. Okay. The claim is that Terrence has a problem. Here's what the problem is. Okay. He's saying that Top Rank owed him a fight. The lawsuit says 2019. He had two fights in 2019. It was 2020. He had one fight. Okay. The COVID caused a 4-month shutdown, first of all. Okay. Second of all, is Terrence didn't want to fight in front of no crowds. So Terrence ended up with one fight that year. Okay. Just one, which is the Kell Brook fight. Okay. I believe it was the Kell Brook fight, but whatever what it was, he ended up with one fight in 2020. Okay. Now, if he felt that he owed him a fight, why did when he had fought the last fight says I'm finished with Top Rank and he announced that my contract's over? Well, if he had one fight that that they owed him, then it's not over. You can't have your cake to eat it too, gentlemen. It's one or the other. Okay, the woman was either fat or she was slender. It ain't both. And this is the same case right here. So if he says that they owe me a fight, then why did he announce his fight that the Porter fight was the last fight? Then he had one more fight to go if he was owed one more fight. So he actually accidentally triggered what will be Top Rank's argument that he said that we had no fights left when he opened up his mouth. Okay, so we don't owe him the money, but if we do owe him anything, we owe him a fight. So he has to perform for Top Rank again. Okay, do you guys understand what I'm saying here? So he triggered that when he said that. I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm moving on. Well, now all of a sudden he says he's owed a fight. Well, which one is it? Remember, we're not talking about 2021. We're talking about 2020. He didn't declare that he missed the fight till 2022. You see gentlemen, do you see my point?
I see the logic.
Right. So if he is owed a fight, if he's right, but there was a COVID shutdown and he didn't want to fight in front of no fans. Okay. So, okay, fine. Then if you feel you're short of the fight, then your contract wasn't over when you fought Porter. Can't have it both ways, guys. It's one or the other.
Right. Thomas, we answered that question. That was the first question of the show, man. So go back.
Thomas, where you been, bro?
Yeah.
But I gotta correct you though, Big Rick. There is such thing as slim thick. Shout out to Nikki J. There's a middle ground.
I know what slim thick is.
Okay,
that I know.
I had to for the people. You know what I'm saying? For the people in the chat, I had to let, I couldn't let that go to the wayside.
But to me, skinny is this and heavy is that, fat's this. So just to let you know, yes.
All right, cool. We got 817 in the building. What's up, man?
What's going on?
817. I don't know why you got that logo up.
We got time to talk about that later. Let me handle the business at hand. What's going on?
That can't count.
Hey, Mr. Glaze.
Yeah.
All respect to you. You're married, correct?
Happily.
Great. So
I do it all over again tomorrow, except I'd make Fred pay for the marriage license.
So that definitely means you love your wife. I mean, with that response, correct?
Absolutely. Greatest woman I ever met in my life. I even told my mother, better than my mother.
Now, you got daughters, nieces, anything like that?
I have nieces, but no daughters. No.
Cool. All right. So let me set a scenario for you, and then I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. Okay?
Sure.
Being as it that you have important women in your life, I understand your distaste for women's boxing. Okay, I can understand that, to each his own, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was one situation that you described upon your last visit here in the barbershop that I truly didn't respect. And let me say this. If you and your wife are out eating and you happen to step away either for the bathroom or to get a waiter for whatever the situation is, and I take it upon myself to start shouting disrespectful epithets to you and your wife, or to your wife, unbeknownst to you as you walk up on it, what would be your response, sir?
Well, it's a very funny thing. It's a weird thing because it depends where I was. It was my own hometown. That would never happen.
Right,
But
because
elsewhere,
right, and I'm thinking that
I would step
somebody in
in.
your
I would
hometown would
step
stop me,
in.
correct?
I would step in between the person doing the shouting and my wife. In between.
All right, I'm glad you said that. So
Mm-hmm.
during Clarissa Shields' weigh-in with her opponent,
Mm-hmm.
when the gentleman that you so eloquently defended and protected after he got assaulted was
Mm-hmm.
shouting disrespectful and abominous things to
That
Clarissa
that
Shields and her
that
people. Hold on, let me
that.
finish. Let me finish,
Okay.
sir, because I'm gonna listen to
Okay.
you.
Okay.
He disrespected her in multiple ways, and none of the men in that room approached him and stopped him. As you would say, the men would stop me and approach me in your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But you found a way to call her nasty, derogatory, any derogatory thing you can say about her, but nothing about the men in that room. But you won't allow the same thing to happen to somebody you love. So, Mr. Glazer, while you sit up here,
You're
hold
talking
on, Mr.
about
Glazer.
you're
So
talking
when you
about
sit up here and you want somebody to respect you and your opinion, but you'll handle the shit a different way, I got a problem with it. And I tell you what, if it wasn't in your neighborhood, your coward ass wouldn't say shit. The only way you feel protected is when you amongst your people. Don't attack a woman. Stand up and be a man. Drop your nuts, pussy ass.
What was the what happened? I don't. Do you remember the last interview?
Yeah, I just said that
Okay.
what she did was disgusting. That she said that she didn't know who did it. She said that she had no association with the guy. It turned out to be her half brother, and she knew it. The film showed she knew it.
Mm.
So that's all I was saying was I thought that was disgusting what she did. I didn't say it was disgusting that he attacked her verbally or she attacked him. She knew who the guy was and she lied about it, and it was clearly her half brother.
Oh.
So that's all I said. So he made a mountain out of a molehill, to be honest with you. But it's all right. He knew he was wrong, so he fled. He didn't allow me to make a comeback.
Oh, I was shocked 817 jumped out, but yeah.
You know, he like to drop the mic every now and again.
Like, I don't even remember that part of the show. Be honest with you, I don't remember that. I gotta go back.
What are you gonna do, guys? We're only halfway through the show. We got an hour and a half in already, and
Fredro,
Yeah. What's up?
We almost forgot about the list.
What list?
The list, the ultimate list, the only list that matters in boxing.
Oh, you gotta ask him the list. What mean the list?
The top 10, man. The top 10.
Top 10 what?
He ain't got no top 10. Go ahead, Kyle.
So we got a top 10 of the finest women boxers in the game right now.
I don't know one from the next. I don't pay attention to
Listen, when you see him, you'll figure it out. Okay?
The one blonde from England, she's pretty hot. What's her name?
Probably Ebony Bridges. Is that her name?
Yes. I think that's it.
I learned
she didn't make our list.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know one from the next. I know Michaela because I've been to a couple of Top Rank shows where she's boxed on and stuff. And I heard her trainer's a dear friend of mine, Al Mitchell, for many years. He used to be the trainer for great guy for David Reed. So he's a longtime friend of mine. So of course I pay attention when she's fighting, only because it's Al's fighter. But I have no interest in women's boxing at all.
What's the solution to like a fair I know it never will be, but let's just hypothetically say, what would be the answer to a fair playing field? For example, I've been hitting the drum about Gary Russell, right? As he was unfairly treated with that triangle didn't get a chance to fight him. Leo, Abner, and Carl Frampton, right?
Why don't you blame Al Heyman for that?
No, great energy because I'm about to cross the street now. Navarrete, Valdez, and there was another one too. They didn't fight.
Right. Okay, so here's why they didn't fight. Because Gary Russell makes between $1.5 million and $2 million a fight. Okay, and nobody's gonna fight. No, why is Bob Arum gonna pay him $1.5 million to $2 million a fight?
Mm-hmm. No, but I mean, even on the same side of the street.
That's on Al Heyman, because he didn't want to put him in with Mexican fighters that were attractions. That's on Al Heyman. It's a business thing. It's not a racism thing, guys. I keep telling you that. There's another example right there. It's business. It's not racism. We gotta stop confusing that. Everybody's getting blurred by those two things. It's a business. Al Heyman's a black man, and he doesn't want to see he lose his ticket sellers back then. Well, Abner's retired now, but and Leo's sort of at the tail end now a little bit. But back in the heyday, he didn't want to see him get beat.
What was your take on Timothy Bradley's comment Saturday?
Well, he spoke the truth. I mean, it was very short and sweet. He's never seen any racism from Top Rank. He was their fighter. He's got a job at ESPN. I'm sure that Top Rank. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure the Top Rank gave ESPN the okay, or they pushed Tim Bradley to get the job. Who knows? I don't know. I never asked. All I know is Tim Bradley was a great fighter, quality person. I voted for him in the Hall of Fame the last 2 years. He didn't get in, but he will eventually. Mm-hmm. And he's a great guy, and he's an outspoken announcer. He does a great job. I love his enthusiasm. And he's not wrong. And he's a friend of Terrence Crawford's.
Yeah. Do you think that they'll do a better job with Shakur Stevenson than they did with let's say Timothy Bradley?
Better than they did a great job with Timothy Bradley. Will they do a better job with Shakur? Yes, because Shakur's got an outgoing personality. He smiles a lot, and he talks to people.
Yeah,
listen. I had walked past Terrence Crawford over the years, and he didn't know me, and I said hello, hello Terrence, or hey bud, like that. Never said hello to me, but when I was introduced to my buddy McGirt, then he said hello to me. He probably didn't remember me passing him in the lobby at the MGM or the hallway at the MGM. But the point was, he's not a warm guy. Shakur walks by you, hey Shakur, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Mm-hmm. Different kind of guy. It's got more of a warm personality. He smiles a lot. He's got a good sense of humor. Bud's a little on the dry side too. So, how would
you rate Bob's promotion of Floyd Mayweather?
Well, I think very good actually, but he left right when he became a star. They bought him out of the contract for $750,000 right after the Floyd Mayweather fight, and right after the Gaddy fight. And that really would have made him a star. And they saw that, and everybody saw that. And Bob just said, "You don't want to work with me? Buy me out. See you later." That's all. Business.
You know what he told me? He says,
"Who's he?"
Thank you. Great. Yeah, Bob. He says that was the biggest mistake he made was not continuously working with Floyd.
Well, that may have been a mistake, but nobody turns down $750,000 when a guy don't want to be with them. So don't forget. It would have been a problem if he wouldn't have released them, and he would have kept working with him, Floyd would have done everything to do to try to poo-poo the relationship and been pissed off and acted in a negative manner. The relationship would never have been the same at that point. So I don't exactly agree with Bob on that.
252, what's up?
What's going on, man? Yo, I got a question for you, man.
Can't hear him.
Yeah, we've been talking about Terrence. Now look, I'm not taking Bob Arum's side. I'm not taking Terrence Crawford's side. I'm not a fan of Bob Arum, and it is my belief that it's Terrence Crawford's fault for re-signing back with him when the whole box community was saying, "Yo, you got to get away from this guy." So my whole thing is, Oscar De La Hoya left, Ali left him. I'm thinking Ali left because he don't want to work with Don King.
Ali didn't leave him. They didn't have a contract.
He didn't leave him? Oh, okay. Well, I know he
didn't have a contract to leave. Ali was working on a fight-by-fight basis for promoters.
Okay. Well, I know. Okay. Thanks for clearing that out. But I know he worked exclusively with Don King a lot towards the end of his career. Okay.
And that's because Bob didn't go get in the heavyweight business after that, after Ali and Leon Spinks, and he didn't have anybody to fight. And Don King had a whole slew of guys from the fight.
Okay, but my question for you, Fred, Kyle, whatever. What is Bob Arum saying to these guys, the young guys coming to keep signing them, when he really doesn't have a? I mean, you could say he got a good track record with he does have a good track record somewhat, the guys he puts them on TV, but a lot of guys get disgruntled, the Mikey Garcias, Terrence Crawfords, Floyds, and these guys. But what is he saying to guys, or promising them to keep signing them out of the Olympics, signing young guys, and for Crawford not to get any significant fights and to keep re-signing back?
Well, let me help answer that question for you, okay? Because I believe you aimed that question at me. First of all, is Top Rank can give you instant national TV exposure on streaming and regular TV at every single show. Every bout is streamed, okay? Or on national TV, or both. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is Top Rank is set up like a real business. It's got its own freestanding building in Las Vegas, a huge corporate headquarters. That's very impressive when you walk in. Okay, you see pictures of Arum and Ali, and you see a film library that dates back now 56 years. Okay, they show you all that. Okay, then they look at how many corporate officers you have. This is our chairman, Bob Arum. This is our CEO. This is our COO. This is our president. This is our director of finance. Okay, this is our in-house attorney. This is this. This is that. Then the biggest thing. They got the two finest matchmakers in boxing. One is presently in the Hall of Fame, was inducted about 2010, Bruce Trampler. Okay. And then they have Brad Goodman, who's on the ballot now, will be in the Hall of Fame the next year or two. Okay. So they have two Hall of Fame matchmakers, basically speaking. By far in the business, by far the two best matchmakers in the business. Okay. They can guarantee you more fights than any promoter. Okay, and any of the other promoters right here in America. They don't have to fly all over the world. They can just fight right here. Okay, all those young prospects. Okay, hold on. Rick's defending Arum like he's done nothing wrong. No, George Foreman said he's not a saint, and I agreed with what George Foreman said. He's not a saint, but I'm answering the questions. Okay, so you take all those things and you add them up. And Top Rank's history of 56 years, and they've built 66 world champions since January of 2004. They built 66 world champions. Gentlemen, I think those track records speak for themselves.
Okay, that's a great answer. Okay, I didn't know. Okay, now I know what is getting guys to sign. Now,
can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? You come out of the Olympics. You come out of the Olympics, they fly into Las Vegas, they pick you up in an Escalade and car service, you pull up to this huge building that says Top Rank on it. The whole building. It's brand new. It's like 5-6 years old. They built it from scratch. Can I ask you a question? Doesn't that start out to be impressive? There's no rented headquarters and not sharing
Look, man,
space.
I agree with you. Look, what you told me, that's a selling point because some of these guys are like 20, 21 years old. So now I see, what he's doing and what he said. That's a great answer. That's a great answer you just answered. Look, I agree with you. But my other question is, why are so many the fighters, not probably not many of them, but why are a lot of the top fighters not happy with
Hold your thought 1 second. Hold your thought.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
Continue with the question. I'm sorry.
I said, there was a great answer that you gave because I never knew they did.
Thank you.
But my question was, my last question is, why are a lot of the top fighters that he has, why are they eventually become unhappy with him?
They're not unhappy with him. They leave because they can go get more money for elsewhere because people lure them away with promises and more money than Bob's willing to pay at that point in their career because Bob always has up and coming stars that he's built to take their places. So he doesn't have to overpay to keep them. Where the other promoters aren't able to build up fighters like Top Rank is, so they have to go out and grab those fighters and pay more money, to keep their ball game rolling. Where Top Rank always has guys does it. So Terrence Crawford just stepped left, right? Shakur Stevenson follows right behind, and now he's going to be the star. That's how they operate, and that's the way you're supposed to operate in boxing.
Oh, okay, well, okay, that's my question. All right. Great show tonight, guys. Great show.
Appreciate you.
All right.
What was Bob's mistake with Floyd? Because obviously he went from making a few million to being a billionaire.
Al Heyman got in his ear and says, "Oh, I'm going to have you promote yourself. We can make it form your own promotional company. You don't need Bob Arum." That's all. He was happy until Al Heyman blew in his ear.
No, what I'm saying, what I'm asking, what do you think Bob Arum's mistake was?
He didn't make a mistake. There was no mistake. Al Heyman came along and blew in his ear.
Oh, no, the reason why I asked, because even, I interview Bob about once a month, and he actually told me that was financially his biggest mistake.
No, the fact that he let him go was in his mind was a mistake, but the relationship would have never been the same. It was been tarnished from that point. So I don't look at it that way. You have to look at what the relationship would have been like if Bob wouldn't have released him, and it wouldn't have been pretty. So I don't agree with Bob on that. Do you see my point, Fred?
Not so much. I think that somewhere along the line there has to be like a
happy medium.
A happy medium, but like tangible results of cohesion and promotion, because I remember at that time, Floyd was mad, and he was saying that he was biased towards Mexicans. Remember, he wanted the Oscar De La Hoya fight, and Floyd was yelling. I mean, he went like on a rant, like for about 2 years. Well, 2 years, I remember, and every time he was like, he won't give me the fight, basically saying things like that. And
he allowed him to fight Gennaro Hernandez, who was at the time he was the IWBC, I think, junior lightweight champ. He allowed him to fight him, and he won the title in like 12. Floyd's like 12 fight, because Gennaro Hernandez was a Mexican, but he wasn't a big attraction. Okay, it's about attraction. It's nothing to do with skin color. If a guy's an attraction, that's the fighter promoters go with. It's not a black, white, or Hispanic issue. There's no hate. There's no hate. That's the key. It's not racism.
I just had a thought. Maybe an epiphany.
Don't act like that's an occasional situation. Come on now. It's not infrequent. You think all the time, and you're a good thinker, Fred.
We're asking people to understand us, and their job is just to understand simple finances.
Yeah, it's about money,
and it's about risk versus reward. So if I only have to risk 10,000 to get $1 million, versus risking $1 million to get 10 million. I'm going to risk the 10,000 to get $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You understand what I'm saying? And
Yep.
Do you think you should? Okay. Do you think, no names at all? Forget Al, forget Bob. If you have a Floyd Mayweather, do you think you should take that risk with Floyd? Hindsight's 2020. We know the answer now, but
what do you mean by that? I'm not sure what.
Like, instead of saying, okay, doing it what works, right? Get a Mexican, pay him $10,000. If he pops up, I still got options on him. I can still pay him 20,000. I get the $1 million from the network. Haha, I'm big winning.
To answer that question, you're talking about 2004. Right. Mayweather didn't become a star until 2006 to 2007. So it was still a long process before he became that star. You see my point?
Yeah.
Okay.
But would you take that risk?
What's the risk I'd be taking?
Would you take the risk to build a Floyd Mayweather or a Canelo?
Of course.
Okay.
It's business. It's just general business. It doesn't matter if the guy's purple. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm not even asking about color or anything. I'm just saying because it's strictly about numbers and risk. I'm not.
Absolutely. This is like an insurance company. It's called risk management. It's just like an insurance company. It's no different. Just like a bank, risk management. It's no different. This is but the difference is you're doing business with the people you're making money from, people that are risking their lives and livelihoods, and they have boxing gloves on.
Right.
That's all it is. It's a numbers business. I mean, listen, I'm a purist, and I'm saying that. I love boxing. I'm a purist. I love fighters. I've had some of my most fun times of my life, besides with my wife, of course, but with fighters. And, I have a great relationship with many fighters, but reality is it's risk and reward, it's risk management, and it's a business. It's not racism. And I'm trying to say that over and over again. I'm not saying isolated situations aren't racism, like you said about Chavez and Whitaker, stuff like that. I'm not saying that. What I am saying to you is it's not happening at Top Rank like certain people that have come on this show claim. It's not happening like Terrence Crawford claims. It's not happening like that at all. How come nobody else ever has said that about Top Rank until now? Timothy Bradley didn't say it. Andre Ward didn't fight for Top Rank, but he's never noticed it, or he would have spoke up. He's outspoken himself. Okay.
They did say it on wax. They did say it at a fight. They said it's racial bias or something like that.
Who said it? Mark Kriegel. Mark Kriegel said it. That's what Fred told me earlier tonight. I think before you were on the show. Timothy Bradley and Andre Ward didn't say it that I know of, because I don't listen to Mark Kriegel, so I don't know. When he got on, because he talks all these storytelling and stuff that I'm not interested in, and I take that time to go to the refrigerator like any other American guy would, and get some refreshments.
Are you surprised the inmates hadn't taken over the asylum yet?
I'm sorry?
Are you shocked the inmates haven't taken over the asylum yet?
Listen, fighters have more rights today than they ever had.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm not thinking from a mindset of employee employer. I'm just thinking that, like, with the fighters knowing what's been happening before them, are you shocked? Is a piece of you still like, I wonder why these fighters just don't take over the sport?
No, I've never even thought that before. You need organizers. You need people to put the money up. You need people to blend in with corporate America to get the money from the TV networks. Fighters aren't doing that. There's no way. That doesn't work like that.
But
it's long. Bob Arum's got a lot of respect because, forget about the boxing, he came out of Harvard. He worked for the U.S. Attorney's Office, all that kind of stuff, during the Kennedy administration. And these guys all come from some kind of background of of Al Heyman went to Harvard. I mean, these guys are blending in with corporate America. Fighters are not going to blend in with corporate America. Even Oscar has trouble blending in with corporate America as much as he is a great public figure. Was a great fighter.
All right, we got King Herbo coming in. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask one question. Do you feel that the Tank and Loma fight will ever happen?
No, not presently, no. And I explained that reason why last week. It's not Tank's fault. It's that Mayweather has no other attractions besides Tank. And if Tank gets beat by Loma, then they don't have any attractions, no money makers. So where Arum can risk a fighter like Loma because he's got so many champions, like I don't know, maybe 12 of them on his roster currently, and where if Mayweather loses Tank, he's in trouble. His business is in trouble, I should say. So I don't think so, and it's not Tank Davis's fault. It's because he's with a company that's too small, and if they lost their one moneymaker, they'd be in the heap.
So you don't think Tank would be in the ring with Devin Haney in him?
No, none of these guys, not for the foreseeable future.
Okay, you think they're gonna just keep moving Tank around like Canelo, like division to division?
What was the question?
I said, you think they're gonna move Tank around like Canelo, like moving from division to division? Because I've been hearing that he might go to
probably 35 and 40. I don't think he'll be fighting at 30 anymore. But yeah, they'll be moving him around to try to find the weakest champions of those guys or the weakest top contenders, where they could be pay-per-view attractions. The fight themselves could be pay-per-view attractions.
Oh, okay. Now that's all I really wanted to ask.
Appreciate you. Okay. We got Champ. Oh, look at this. Champion Art. We gotta do your video tomorrow. What's up, Champion Art?
It's all good. How you doing, man? What's going on with you?
Not much. You cooking?
No, I was actually prepping. This new schedule is crazy. So I was prepping some salmon so that when I get off tomorrow, it'll already be done and I can just come home and eat, man. The schedule is crazy, and I never had time to do what I need to do. When I get home until I get used to the schedule.
Bigger.
I'm glad you're better, man.
No, thank you.
Do you there's a tea that you should be drinking.
What is it?
It's a immune support with elderberry in it. Okay, and slice ginger root.
Yeah.
You know what ginger root looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah. Slice ginger root in it. Also lemons. Slice lemons in it and unfiltered honey. And drink that on empty stomach before you lay down and in the morning when you get up. First thing.
Okay. Done.
Okay. Kyle, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, champ? How you doing?
It's all good. Mr. Glacier, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to come on, man, real quick and chop it up with you guys. I've been listening to some of the things that you're saying, man, and I'm totally in disagreement with you. One of the things that you said is that Lomo will fight anybody. That's not true. He gave up his belt so that he wouldn't have to fight Haney, and took a franchise belt.
No, that's not what happened. I know that what happened behind the scenes. I know what was said publicly. It's not what happened. And Bill Haney knew it. He knew I had the dope on it. And that's why I kept saying that fellow in New York City, and that fellow in New York City, you should talk to him. And Fred remembers that. Bill back right down. He knew I had the facts. So that's not what happened.
So
I'll
what
leave
happened?
it at that.
What happened?
I'm not privy to discuss it. Like, I didn't discuss it with Bill. Bill knew that I knew, and Bill clammed up, respectfully clammed up. As soon as I mentioned that about that quote guy in New York City, there was an arrangement made because Devin's contract went up so drastically with Hearn if he became a world champion. So there was maneuvering made. What's his name had too many titles. Would had too many mandatories to defend. He didn't need that title. He didn't need to pay the sanctioning fee. And he said, "Here, no problem." And it was a deal made between multiple parties that Loma agreed to. It wasn't Loma's idea. It was a gentleman in New York City's idea. Okay, and when Bill was on the show, when I said the guy from New York City twice, he knew that I knew the real deal. So it wasn't that wasn't the fact.
Right. Okay. Yeah, Kevin, echinacea tea. That's right.
I just wrote it down.
Yeah, echinacea tea. You also said that Bob let Floyd go. Floyd left because Bob was ripping him off. There were fights.
That was not true. That's not true.
Floyd said himself that there were fights where
I don't care what
Bob
Floyd
wanted to
said.
pay him
That's not
2
true.
or 3 million
Time out.
when he could have been paying him
No, let
6
me
million.
finish. Floyd was very happy with Bob until Al Heyman blew in his ear. Okay, Bob accepted $750,000 buyout. Okay, that's all that happened. There was nobody was ripping anybody off. Don't use those words when it's not a fact. The fact was Al Heyman blew in his ear. I can do better for you. There was no thought that he was getting ripped off, and that came from Roger Mayweather, who was his trainer at that point in time, who was my dear friend. Okay, so I know what the facts are.
So are you trying to say that PBC don't build fighters? You're saying that Top Rank build fighters that PBC doesn't?
Okay.
That's not true.
Top Rank has built 64 world champions since 2004. You tell me how many of the other organizations have built. Peanuts compared to that. 64 fighters they've built. 66 fighters. 66. They have the 2 best matchmakers in the business by far. Do you know for a fact that PBC does not employ a matchmaker? Case closed. Thank you.
They're not a what?
They don't employ a matchmaker. Top Rank has 2 of them. They don't employ a matchmaker. There's no matchmaker on their staff. Okay? How do you build fighters with no matchmaker? It's almost impossible. Your fighters got to be awful damn good to survive not having a matchmaker. Hello?
Yeah.
So PBC got some damn good fighters then, right?
You weren't talking. I didn't know if your thing was froze. I'm sorry.
No. I said I'm not aware of that. But I will look into it.
I am.
I'm not going to just take your word for it. I'll definitely look into it.
Okay, don't take my word for it. That's all right.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe anything I said. Okay, nothing. 0.
So
okay.
So would you say PBC has some of the best fighters?
PBC's got some excellent fighters. They survived having no matchmakers there. That they were just putting guys in, and they looked for soft guys. They weren't building fighters up with keep improving them with better opposition. They just kept putting them in with the same type of dummy names and faces. They have good fighters. There's no question PBC's got good fighters. There's not a question. They all have good fighters. Oscar's got good fighters. They all got good fighters. That's why they're in business.
How do you feel about Jay Prince?
Great guy. Like him. Does a great job for his fighters. Represents his fighters well. No problem with Jay Prince at all.
Do you think he's great for boxing, or what do you think?
No, he's not great for boxing because he's a manager. He's not a promoter. The people that are great for boxing are people that are putting the biggest fights on, bringing the money into the business. Okay, those are the fighters themselves. Those are the people great for boxing. Just because you get a lot of money for your fighter and you do the best job for your fighter doesn't mean you're great for boxing. It's 2 different issues. Is he good for boxing? Yeah, he's not bad. Absolutely.
How about Tom Brown? Would you consider him
He's an excellent boxing guy. He's a great guy. I have nothing but respect for Tom.
No, I'm saying he's a matchmaker. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, but he's not. He's more the he's the legal matchmaker for the shows, but there's no in-house development of the fighters coming from a matchmaker for PBC, for Al Heyman directly. Now, you could say Tom Brown, but he's more or less the organizer of an event than he is a matchmaker these days.
How about the guy from Warriors Boxing? He does a lot of matchmaking for the guy with the white hair. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
Leon Margolis?
Yeah, he does matchmaking.
He's not a matchmaker. He's a promoter.
He's done some I thought he's done some matchmaking for PBC as well.
He's a promoter and a lawyer, an attorney. He's not a matchmaker.
Okay.
Let me say this before I go. You brought up Deontay Wilder and Fury.
I didn't bring him up. The other gentleman was on the show.
Yeah. Salute to Deacon 305. So you're gonna tell me that you watched that second fight and that those gloves that Fury had on did not look suspect to you? The flopping.
Not at all. Can I explain? Can I explain?
Sure. Go
when
ahead.
you hit something, you go forward. Everything crinkles up behind you. The force is here, and everything loosens up here. Okay, it's a simple answer. There's nothing suspect.
I mean,
they was doing like this though, man. The gloves was like
years,
this.
And my gloves never did that. I fought for 4 years.
Okay.
My gloves never did that.
Okay. Let me run this by you. The commission would have had to be in on it if they were saying there's something wrong. There wasn't. They have the 2 inspectors in the locker rooms at all times in each locker room. There's nothing there was wrong, guys. There's nothing that was wrong at all. Zero. And if a glove is flopping around, it's sure not going to help the fighter. The tightness will help the fighter, not loose and floppy.
Well, sure.
When you hit somebody like this though with your palm,
when you're hitting someone with the side of your fist like this, you're not hitting them like that anyway. So of course it's going to help the fighter. What are you talking about?
It would have to be super tight from this part to this part to help this or this. If it's just loose, it doesn't help anything. What does that help? It helps nothing. Okay, you're talking about a density per square inch here to create more power, and the tightness up to your wrist and your hand would help cause more power, not something being loose. I mean, it's just like a car tire. The tire starts to go flat. It's loose. That doesn't help.
No, when you're hitting someone to the side of the head with your fist like that, that's almost like a slap.
Okay, so how would a loose glove help that?
No, your fist is balled up. Your fist is balled up, and the laces are over your fist, and you're slapping like that. What do you mean? How's that helping the fighter?
How's that helping the fighter? Doesn't.
Because it's a slap to the side of the head. A slap to the side of the head is a lot more effective than a straight punch.
Okay, I never heard that in the history of boxing.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've also said that that there's no racism in boxing. You know that boxing has always been about race. You can go back to the days.
I didn't say there was no racism in boxing. I said racism is hate. It's not hate. It's capitalism. You're blurring issues. We discussed this earlier. Maybe you didn't hear it. You weren't on the show. We've already been through this. Okay, hate and racism. Okay. Is the same thing. It's not racism. It's not hate. It's capitalism.
You telling me boxing's never been about race? Is that what you're saying? How long have you been involved in boxing?
It's about 31 years, and it's about capitalism. You're blurring issues.
Okay, so you're telling me back in the days of Jack Johnson, it wasn't about race, about capitalism.
Come on, that was 120 years ago.
It's always been. It's always been a factor.
Come on, buddy.
It's always been a factor.
We're not talking about something that happened 100 years ago. There was racism.
It's always been that way in boxing.
Everything was race back then.
We can't hear
We're
both
talking about today. We were talking about Bob Arum.
No, and what I'm saying is that it has always been a factor in boxing. You can go back to the days of Jack Johnson. Nothing has changed.
Everything was about race back then, wasn't it? It wasn't
And it
boxing.
still is. Because
No,
they pretty it up and put a bow on it. Is you telling me it's not the same thing?
absolutely not. It's not hate. Racism is hate. Get it. Okay? This
Okay,
is
man.
capitalism. You're confusing the issues.
All right, man. Hey, Fred, I'm gonna get with you, man. Hey, I think I know a guy that might charter that flight with you talking about coming out here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I want to go Saturday morning.
I'll hook that up. I'll give you a call.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
man. Y'all take.
I'll see you tonight.
All right,
it.
most
See you
definitely.
tonight. Yeah,
All right.
man. It's you know, I think there has to be like a mindset shift. Is like when we have the chance to take over something, I think that's the time to take it over. You know, like how you said Top Rank has a matchmaker, CFO, CEO, chairman, Bob Arum, pitchers,
They got more.
video.
They got more corporate officers than the other companies in boxing have total employees. So there you go.
I'm willing to bet that. Now, I've been there. It's immaculate. Bob Arum runs a Fortune 500 company of boxing. No doubt about it. Got the ring up the street and all that. I mean, it's just immaculate. And the same thing you said about Top Rank is the same thing that should be said about Floyd Mayweather. You understand what I'm saying?
Like what?
Oh man, look at he got the CFO, the CEO. He could be running everything outside within that. You understand what I'm saying?
I think that possibility exists, but let me ask you a question: how successful a company can be when Leonard Ellerby's running it?
No, that's the point. See, the point I'm making is the point I'm making is these fighters got to think the same way that you see how you spoke of Bob Arum's business and reverence, like willfully giving information and telling, oh, this is everything they got. They run a business, and I can honestly say I've seen it, right?
Mm-hmm.
These fighters got to start seeing themselves as a business, as a brand. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Floyd is the most polarizing example that I can use. Floyd Mayweather. He should have created the same thing, divisions, or whether it's TMT Promotions, and then you can go to his travel promotions, and he could have created a subsidy for his exhibitions, and every fighter has like a contact person and stuff like that. And if we have this mindset, we will have more power. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. There's not even a question. I understand. There's a lot of truth to that, but you've got to put in the time, the effort, and the financials to be able to do that. Oscar's done that. Oscar's owns a building in L.A. that's a skyscraper.
Yep.
I would maybe it isn't a skyscraper, but it's pretty close, right?
Yeah, it's pretty damn big. It's pretty damn
okay. Big. And Oscar's really done that. Oscar's went out and got his own TV deal with his own streaming deal, where Floyd's always dependent on Heyman with Showtime or with the Showtime deal. So I would think that Oscar's way ahead of Floyd in that area. Sad to say, but it's true. But don't forget, Leonard Ellerby's not running De La Hoya's company. Kyle, what's so funny?
I don't like that guy.
What's that?
I don't like that guy.
I actually like him. But you know, it's just that he is what he is. He's a person of his own shortcomings, and that some people are like that. He's got some good qualities, but you know, he dresses well.
No. So what Fred is saying is right. You take fighters, right? You say, all right, I'm gonna start my own thing, right? If I make the 3 million, right, and I take that 3 million and I put it in towards the business instead of like whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I instead of trying to do a TV deal, I go do Facebook or YouTube, you know what I'm saying? And then I build it up that way. And he's saying like if all the fighters just say fuck it, I'm not gonna sign with Top Rank, we're gonna just build with each other. Do you think that they could take over in that manner? You know what I'm saying? If everybody gets their own promotional companies and fight each other.
No, because the money has to come from somewhere, and these guys are magnets about attracting money. Arum is an iconic figure. He's a polarizing figure. That's what Don King was all those years. These guys have big personalities. They got deep pockets. Remember this, okay? Nobody wants to talk about this, but this is what the facts are. People that are corporate executives running TV networks, dwelling out millions of dollars, want to do business with proven commodities. And Don King is a proven commodity, and Bob Arum is a proven commodity. Okay, now Don King is now been retired basically for, you know, a bunch of years now, since 2010. He still dabbles with a few fighters, but Bob Arum still has that. He does it every day. And people want to do business with successful people that they know they can count on with a long track record of history. It's like when Don King first started going to the networks, okay, the networks, the boxing part was run by boxing people, okay, real boxing people, not just TV executives. So he had Don Majeski, he had Al Braverman, he had Patty Flood, he had all these boxing guys around him, so people believed in him, even though they didn't know that much about Don King yet. So that's what it takes too.
All right, we got someone. We got.
So if I get if Floyd, see what I'm saying, so a Floyd Mayweather type of person, right? I'm thinking like Keyshawn Davis. He has that bravado. He has that star appeal. I'm thinking if he gets the money that Floyd gets and says, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna start my own company. I think if him and 3 other people with that same cachet join forces and he got his company, and then they get the best fighters, and the best fighters end up fighting each other, I think that can happen. Because that's all we want is the best fights.
Kyle, if my mother had balls, she'd be my father. That's so far-fetched. It's crazy. You'd have to have 150 moving parts all fall in their perfect alignment to have that happen. And that's not going to happen in boxing. Remember one thing about boxing. It's the one sport in the world where the very, 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 very uneducated meet the very, very, very educated, and somehow we manage to make a deal. And that common denominator is money. And that's why things are so difficult. That's why we have so many lawsuits in boxing. You don't hear about in any other sport in the world. Okay, you don't hear about anywhere near the amount of lawsuits that you have in boxing. There's so few in every other sport. Okay, boxing has lawsuits every day filed. Okay, and it's a problem. That right there tells you so much about the business right there. And that's something you have to look at. It doesn't happen in other sports. And I agree, the best have to fight the best. And we need to make the best fights out there. Yes, I'm a purist. I love boxing. Yes, we do. We don't do that anymore. But we also have to stop the craziness where everybody's suing one another. Okay? And that's part of it, what we just talked about right there. Okay, you can't get 150 moving parts to move together at the same time. This isn't a mechanical wristwatch, or this isn't an automobile engine. Okay, this is 150 human beings trying to do one thing collectively at the same time, and in the same cohesion and in collusion with one another. and do it successfully. It's almost impossible. And that's why you need the Bob Arums. You do need the Al Haney. You do need the Oscar D. Lawyers, guys that can put together corporate structures, have respect from networks, and the Eddie Hearns, the Frank Warren in England, the Mr. Honda, Tekken Promotions in Japan. These are the movers and shakers of the business because they've been able to put it together for extended amount of years. Okay. And just to come in here and change things, that's not going to happen. Okay. And not in that regard.
Yeah. And people in business today, they don't want things to change. You understand? Like you run a successful business, doing business the way business was done in 15, 10,
it's called 20. The establishment. It's the establishment. Correct. 100%.
And that's what I want to say. Like,
right.
Like it's to the bottom dwellers and the people coming up, like these 0-0 fighters and these fighters, that it's racial bias. I believe to people that's doing business, shit, it's the rule brick. Like, this is just boxing. This is just the way it's supposed to be. If Canelo is the cash cow and I know the formula that beats Canelo, he ain't touching Canelo.
Correct.
If I have Mike Tyson, if I have like there was 20, I believe there was 10 to 20 fighters that could have beaten Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
Arum and King said, ain't nobody touching this kid. You understand? They learned their lesson with Meldrick Taylor, and they said never again. You know, but I mean, obviously he got older.
Fred, I got 10 more minutes tonight because I forgot I got to make a conference call 1 o'clock overseas.
Okay, cool.
Forgot about that when we talked about this today. But 1 o'clock.
We got right side. We got right side coming in. Hurry up, man. What you got?
All right. Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Hey, man. Salute to everybody already who done came into the chat. Salute to you, Mr. Glacier, man. We appreciate you coming in and putting in and dropping the knowledge that you're dropping. We definitely appreciate it because we not insiders. A lot of us aren't, especially somebody like myself. I'm a fan, but I still have questions. So I want to hit you with a few of them. And
fire away. You got 10 minutes of my time because I'm cutting out at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So you fire away.
Hey, I'm on Eastern time too, so I need to take my butt to sleep. I got to work tomorrow, so I feel you. This is first questions first. When I look at somebody like Devin Haney, who's gone out and started his own promotional company and has considered himself in partnership with Eddie Hearns and DAZN, right? Do you think that's a good thing for the sport of boxing, or do you think that's a negative thing for the sport of boxing? That's my first question.
It's neither. All it does is mean that he'll own rights to the films of the fights going down the road of his own fights, so it doesn't affect boxing either way.
Okay, but because he does own those pieces of information, those pieces of video, it makes him that much more successful. Would you agree with that?
100%.
Absolutely. I agree with you when you say 100%. My next question would be, do you think that there should be more boxers who take that route versus, and mind you, yeah, you sign because coming out of the amateurs, you don't have any support, any machine behind you pushing you forward. So yeah, absolutely, go ahead and sign with Top Rank. Go ahead and sign with PBC. Go ahead and sign with these promotional companies. But once you establish yourself, I believe you should move outside of yourself and bet on yourself to say, hey, I need to be doing my own thing. I need to be bringing the money back into my own community.
Understand one thing.
Absolutely.
You're talking about a staff at Top Rank. Okay, and even if you had a small company, you're talking about a company that has probably $1 million a month in payroll.
Right, I agree.
Okay, so you're talking about something that if you just had a guy who was running the company for you, you had a matchmaker, you had a PR person, and you had a secretary. You're still talking about in round figures 100,000 a month, $1 million to a year, plus office space, plus all kinds of other expenses like going to the organizational conventions and stuff like that. So it's not as easy as you say. There is a big expense to this.
I'm not saying it's easy, but I am saying when you look at somebody, and once again, I'm only going to Devin Haney strictly because he's one of the few who stepped out and made this move. When you're going to, or when you're looking at building your own brand, hold on, let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah, because we got one more. Because I want to get this other guy. I apologize. I got to rush you off, but go ahead.
And I'm gonna jump off real quick. And all I'm saying is I agree with what you're saying. What I'm saying is that when you're able to take in 4 million, 3 million, whatever it is, and Devin Haney, he's not a big pay-per-view seller. He's not big as far as the gate goes, but he's still making decent amount of money, you know what I'm saying, to pay these individuals like you were speaking on. So what I'm saying is if you're able to step outside of those promotional brands, start your own promotional brand, and then I believe that would allow for more matches to be made, the best fighting the best, if more fighters were doing this. I could be very wrong in what I'm saying, but that's how I'm kind of looking at the situation, because it's nobody who, anytime Devin Haney calls somebody out at this current moment in time, then he's able to, or he's not able to always get those fights, but he has a promotional brand.
Hurry up, man.
I'm out, man. Bye.
Right, I want to get Mr. Henderson in, man. He's the last person in here. I want to get him in, and then we out of here. What's up, Mr. Henderson?
What's going on, Fred, Kyle? So, Rick,
what's going on?
Who's the uneducated? Who in the scenario where the educated meets the uneducated and business gets done? Who's the uneducated?
Everybody's the educated and the educated. I'm legally uneducated. I've educated myself. It's just everybody in general. There's trainers, fighters, promoters. Some promoters are uneducated. It just happens to be that it all comes together in this business. It's nobody in particular.
Okay, because I think what Kyle and Fred are kind of talking about, because I feel like you represent the old guard. You represent an old guard. You represent an old way of doing things, and it's that they don't need Bob Arum. That's the truth. You're talking about all these pieces that need to move with cohesion.
They don't need Bob Arum.
You know what? Forget that. I really want to talk about, because you came in here and you said that your wife is black, right?
I never mentioned on this show. That was the first show.
Right. That was the first show. I'm a frequent follower of the show, so I saw it. How do you and your wife deal with race issues? Because when people jumped in this panel and they were trying to express themselves about racism in boxing, as opposed to listening to them, you chose to usurp as if you had some authority within this barbershop conversation to talk over them and interrupt them. So I'm curious, being in an interracial relationship, how you handle speaking on race issues with your wife.
We don't have any race issues in our home. There's no race issues. We don't look at things like that. My wife and I are black and white alike. I mean, that's just the way we are. I mean, there's no question about that. So it's never even come up. It's never even been discussed even.
So no conversations on the George Floyd, no nothing.
No. Well, we all felt bad for George Floyd. I mean, it was a horrible situation. It was very, very ugly.
You have to bring me on your show.
Yeah, my wife's here. She's
okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, I just had some questions, Rick, because I think within the communication, I can understand how you being.
You got 1 minute because he got to go. And
all right, that's fine, Fred. I'll back out, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, say what you got to say, and then maybe he'll answer on his closing.
Okay. Well, I think within the communication, when someone's trying to express themselves from perspective, it would go a long way if you let them complete the thought. That way, you can at least be willing to digest the information That's coming from somebody who
talking about the guy Hart. He was putting words in my mouth and stuff like that. That's why I shut him down when I interrupted him. So he was trying to reconvert something to fit his narrative of what I said. That's why I shut him down. I normally don't do that. Okay.
All right, Kyle, you going live?
Absolutely.
I'll see you. I'll see you. All right, Fred.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Birdman says boxing new name is business, and if you're an up and coming prospect, they don't care about you no matter your gift. The best won't fight the best. The best won't fight the best. It's a scam. If you're a duck or a hype, you'll fit in.
But listen, Birdman was good. He put up $10, so that's good. We'll take his comment anytime.
Yeah, but Gay, I want to give you a chance for your close. You got. Thank you for coming on, Kyle, and I definitely appreciate you.
Absolutely,
you give your closing statement.
I wish I was more prepared tonight, guys. I would have gotten a couple hours worth of sleep, but I got to make this call at 1:00. It's a 4-way Zoom call, and that's why I got to fly. So listen, guys, I can't wait till January 31st. Freeway Rick Ross, myself, the legend that be Freeway Rick Ross, we're going to be on.
And me too.
And probably my wife that night too. I think my wife will come out.
We can get her on before.
Yes, I want to be on before.
My wife's a wonderful lady, and by the way, you guys, there's never been anything about race in our house ever, in our home ever, and we love each other dearly.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday, she want to come on next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, we'll see. I'll let you know.
Call me.
I gotta look at my schedule. I would love to come on.
Call me.
Good
And y'all figure it out.
We'll stay in touch. Kyle, you got my number when you want to talk about that.
I'm gonna call you this weekend.
Thank you. Looking forward. Just don't call me during the Bills game. I'll kill you. Okay.
You a Bills fan?
He's in Buffalo.
Yeah, you gotta be. You live in Buffalo. What else is there? I gotta go. It's 1:00, guys. Okay.
Peace.
Love you all. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. So, what I thank you, Mr. Glazier, for coming on. Here's what I was sitting there just intaking it, and I finally, I really believe I can really put my brain around what I've been wanting to say for years. It is a ironclad structure, and they have built it to work for them to perpetuity. People say it's the old guard. People say it's the business as usual. We got to play by their games. Fighters got to go into boxing like they're a Fortune 500 company. Fighters got to go in this thinking perpetuity. And if you don't, they're always going to see you as the employee. They will make you the greatest. They will make you the greatest employee in the history of boxing. The greatest. They don't want you to be the greatest employer because it minimizes their value. It minimizes who they currently are. And we get opportunities. We had Muhammad Ali, since we're going to talk black. We had Muhammad Ali could have, whatever Bob Arum has today, Muhammad Ali's could have been 5 times better because of his cachet. There's no bank in the world, in America, Muhammad Ali couldn't have gone and borrowed $50 million against his name because they want to own him. Why wouldn't I liquidate one of my buildings and give it to Muhammad Ali? I want him to miss I want him to miss not make that loan payment because I want to own a piece of Ali. We miss it when we just want to be famous, when we just want to be profitable, when we just want to be the greatest fighter in the world. Then we had Sugar Ray Leonard, 76 Olympics, right? And Sugar Ray only had 33, 34, 35 fights. He retired 3 times, you know. Missed the boat.
Marvin Hagler. Remember, because he wanted to do.
But Marvin Hagler wasn't the. I'm talking about.
No, I'm saying like the fight. They fight. Sugar Ray Leonard was trying to promote it himself. And Marvin Hagler was like, nah, I ain't trying to do that.
It doesn't matter. Sugar Ray Leonard didn't think of what
Long
we're
term.
talking about. What Bob Arum has created. He's done it right. We can sit here and debate whether Bob Arum, whether you have physical evidence of Bob Arum being a racist, whether Terrence Crawford's right, whether Terrence Crawford's wrong. What's right about Bob Arum is he has created an ironclad business model. It's not a fly-by-night structure. It's going to be here. It's going to be here. It's going to be here. We had Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, and I don't know who's next. That's just my lifetime.
Shakur Stevenson, man.
Well, we don't know. But what I'm saying is these are real life examples. Listen to what I'm saying. Real life examples of 5 examples that could have been 5 times as big as what Bob Arum had created.
I really hope you get the interview with Don King, though.
Yeah, it'll come at some point. And I really think that we got to encourage these fighters to think forward. They just want to be world champions and drive Rolls Royces, man. You are even if you don't have a promotional company, you got to build infrastructure around you. Because if you become a megastar in boxing, that name cachet forever. But you got to do it while you're fighting. You can't do it while you're retired. You got to do it while you're fighting. You know, and now we're in 2022, and now we're looking like, damn, Terrence Crawford is about to get blackballed from this ironclad infrastructure. And there's nothing no black person can do in the sport of boxing to protect Terrence Crawford. Whether he's right or wrong, there's no black person he can run to for cover. Because their goal was to either fight in this ironclad system or get a seat next to Bob Arum and the other promoters. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that is where we're at with this, man. And the accountability, really, I'm gonna keep it real, is really on us. Imagine if Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya could have took a step back and said, you know what? Capitalism made us enemies. How about we heal this black and Mexican divide in the real world? They're going to carry that hatred to the grave. Floyd's kids can't run his business. Oscar's kids can't run his business.
Bob Arum's kids can, though.
Well, I don't know. I'm not.
No, I'm saying his kids is a part of his business, though. They're a part of
his son-in-law.
infrastructure.
Tyler Buff is a son-in-law, But it's dog. There's nowhere there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere. We can say it's not about if Terrence Crawford is right. Terrence Crawford ain't got nowhere to go because we haven't done the work. Ellie Setback does a video on how much a chain costs. It gets 3 million views. Because y'all won't chop this up and make this go get 20 million views. It's the realest shit ever. It's no way in 2022 something Muhammad Ali's boxing should be somewhere in boxing. How the hell is Muhammad Ali and Martin Luther King the same fucking weekend every year? But arrested, so as long as we have the sun in the sky, it is not a boxing holiday, meaning it's not the Super Bowl of boxing. Shouldn't the Super Bowl of boxing be on Muhammad Ali and Martin Luther King weekend? I mean, make it make sense. I told Al Heyman that. Al, through other people, Al, why don't you make Martin Luther King holiday? This is 6 years ago I told this man this. Why don't you make it was the weekend Deontay Wilder won the championship, dog. I said, so that was like shit, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I said, why don't you make this a national holiday in boxing? Every year we do something big like this. It was Bernard Hopkins. We celebrated Bernard Hopkins' birthday that that weekend, I remember. And but no matter what wins, we got to look at Al Heyman because this is all we have. The man had $1 billion. Where's the infrastructure? We should know these people that work for Al Heyman. They shouldn't have to sneak around and say, talk to Al. These fighters should have infrastructure. If you got 20 fighters, these fighters should be living in Vegas, LA, Miami, and maybe New York. That's it. Nah, you can't. Nah. You can't go to. You got to leave. No, you can go visit. You can go visit Nebraska, but I got this $75,000 home in Las Vegas. You can, we can work it off. You make $300,000 a fight. And we build infrastructure. You have teams around them so they understand concepts. That's why I said if I had a father, I would have been a millionaire in my 20s, man. No doubt about it. I think I probably would have made the NFL because I wouldn't have played basketball. Basketball would have been my second sport, not my first sport. That's why that infrastructure is so important. I went to Harvard of the West at the time. I went to Whittier College. That was Harvard of the West before Stanford. So it's not what college you went to and this and that. I don't like that shit. It's about the infrastructure and being the information highway. Now we look at Floyd, we look at Al, we look at all the names I just said, Oscar De La Hoya, Mike Tyson. They're all characters. Oscar De La Hoya is a character. Floyd Mayweather is on his way to being a character. Mike Tyson has been a character. We don't have infrastructure. Now we stuck. There's no way, no matter what happens to Terrence Crawford, he should have a place to go. And now we sitting here like we debating who's right and who's wrong.
He might be able to go to Triller though.
Triller, man, that ain't gonna happen. Why would you go to Triller? They just forfeited $6 million. Makes no sense. Fred, that dude Rick doesn't realize that old model is dying around him. The amount of relevance he gets is due to the shop. Shouldn't be free. No, the old guard ain't dying. How the hell is the old guard dying and Terrence Crawford's about to get blackballed? How is that dying? Explain to me how that's dying. Al Heyman can't make a fight in New York. How is it dying? Gary Russell's fighting in Atlantic City, and Al Heyman is renting out the Prudential Center. That's like your JV gym. That's like your middle school gym in comparison to fighting in New York.
Why don't they fight the Barclays no more?
It's done. New Yorkers don't go to New Jersey to have a good time. New people from New Jersey go to New York to have a good time. You'll never catch someone from Lower Manhattan say, I'm going to New Jersey for the weekend. Man, are you kidding me? That don't happen. It's like me in LA. Where you going for the weekend? Riverside? Nah, I'm going to Riverside for.
Why haven't they been at the Barclays?
It's done. The business deal is done. It's done. Walls are closing. Y'all think this was a game. Y'all thought Fred's a hater. No. Y'all gonna see it's getting worse and worse. Y'all don't see it because y'all have hope. Y'all think everything is versus the white man. No, it's infrastructure. We had $1 billion to create infrastructure. Al got $1 billion. Floyd got $1 billion. You can leverage that and get $20 billion worth of loans. Build infrastructure. And then we got it. We win. Bob ain't tripping. He got infrastructure. He don't care how long the trial goes. He got two. He's a lawyer and he got an in-house. He got 2 in-house lawyers. He ain't tripping on Terrence Crawford suing him for $10 million. He's sitting here chilling. Like, man, I ain't tripping. I spoke to Bob for five minutes a day. You know what I mean? I honestly, I was just calling. Y'all know we talked about, and so we gonna do the interview sometime this weekend, you know, and y'all gonna get the answers y'all want. You know what I mean? Live with them. There's nothing you can do about it, and that's where we're at. How much did Mike Tyson make? 500 million, which is probably 1.5 billion today. And he had power. But he wanted to fuck women. He wanted to do drugs. He wanted to be the most physical, most fearless man in the world. In the streets, though. Now Terrence Crawford is stuck. Gary Russell fighting once every 2 years because Al Heyman's trying to save what he got. And he believes, shit, man, I think I gotta make the fights where I can just make $1. Shit, I gotta stay afloat so I can find $200 million from somewhere. Oh shit, maybe Canelo. 40 million, shit, 55 million. Let's try it. Oh God, let's cross our fingers. Now he throwing darts, blinds in the dark, darts in the black. What they say, Kyle?
So what do you think could get PBC out the hole?
It's over. They can't succeed because if they succeed, they got to pay back the initial, the principal. Why would Al want to pay back $1 billion? And he legally don't have to. The business failed. Open up a new business. He probably had good intentions. I believe he had good intentions. But now we stuck.
Yeah, I wonder why that shit happened to where he can't go back to Barclays.
Well, when you turn your back on people, you know, when you the very first chance they do it, you know, the guy left, the twin brother left, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but his brother works at Rock Nation. He was the head of Barclays Center and Lou DiBella, and so I don't know what his name. Damn, I know his name, man. Shit, he used to give me tickets and stuff. Oh gosh. Anyway, he's a twin. He's the well-dressed twin from Rock Nation. His brother was in charge of the Barclay, and he was at Rock Nation. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of his name. Y'all seen him 100 times, especially around Andre Ward. But,
well, at least he still got Texas, huh?
Texas, no. He doesn't want to assume any risks. He said, nah. He's not assuming the risk.
But I thought the Ugas versus Earl fight was in Dallas.
What are you talking about? I'm confused now. You said down south, down in Texas.
I said he still got Texas.
No, that's not money, man. You talking about 3 to 5 million, man. You know how much money you need to save PBC? Nah, man. Nah. That's not the money that's the money you and I need to change our last name, sure. But that shit ain't gonna happen. I mean, he can go bet on black one time. But I'm glad that Rick came on and allowed y'all to understand the infrastructure and the importance of infrastructure. The importance of infrastructure in your home, structure with your kids, so when you grow old, they'll take care of you, is the same level of infrastructure. Same level of infrastructure you got to have as a fighter. If you're the father or the mother of the fighter, you got to go into this we got to have infrastructure. We ain't just about to be cool and happy. We can do that too. But your little cousin is graduating from Howard in 2026. You got a job. The moment you graduate from college, you got a job. Michael Yormack. Thank you, dog. And that's where we got to be. And honestly, it's racism in real life. It's racism in real life. Like in real life, like if I'm in the barbershop or if I'm walking down the street, and that's racism. It is. We know it. But in boxing, it's not racism because you sign your name, and you sign your name on the contract, and you sign your name on the check, and you already know what happened to Muhammad Ali. You already know what happened to Mike Tyson. You already know what happened we already know these stories. So it's not racism, it's what they call it. What Jay-Z said in his first album, politics as usual, That's what it is. A fighter got to step up, maybe do it in your region. You ain't got to do it like Top Rank or Al Heyman or Don King. You ain't got to do it like them. But the structure is so important. That's why these guys stay around for hundreds of years. The Carnegies, the Waltons, the Bob Johnsons, they're going to be here forever. They created infrastructure.
I think Devin Haney could do it.
Shit, he a long way off. Long way. He too flashy. He spent $1 million with a jeweler. He not even in the same mindset. Is he rich? Sure, be rich. I'm happy that he's rich. But it's a mindset. It's Frederick at 44. Sure, I can go to any fight I want to, but I'm creating these visuals. Any fighter can do it at levels. You know, I think Devin's gonna be 100. He has a chance to be $100 million fighter, if not more. I think it's in him. I think he got the age. I think him and Shakur got age on their side. You know, I think that Davis brother, Keyshawn, got a chance.
Davis Boys Enterprises. And I'm telling I brought up his name for a reason. I'm telling you. He gonna be the one. He gonna be the one, Fred. He gonna be the one. Cause he been talking about business before he returned pro. He came on here talking about business. That's why we all fell in love with the kid. He was talking about owning shit. He wasn't thinking about just working.
Well, he signed.
I mean, but you gotta sometimes you gotta do that shit to get the you know what I mean?
I'm just saying, but he signed. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, but sometimes you gotta get
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but he signed. So hopefully that's a stepping stone, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like people say what they want. Like my uncle say it all the time. Oh man, I'm gonna do this. You know, your older cousins and shit. I'm gonna do this. Okay. You've been saying it every Thanksgiving, nigga.
Yeah.
You know, but
I think he I think he got it, man. I think him and Dev, they got it. They got the right idea.
Now they can do it now. I'm not gonna sit there and say they can't do it. No, but listen, I did the same thing with the YouTubers. We sitting, it's late than a motherfucker. When I say it's late, it's like 1:30, 2:30, 3:30 in the morning, and we're in the MGM uploading videos. And I'm driving back, so I don't care what time I go to bed or shit like that, you know. And we're just cracking jokes and shit. And it's hold up. Every major YouTuber, Fight Hype, Ellie, everybody. I don't give fuck the names. Even Deontay was in there at the time. I says, listen, guys. I said, I run a business. They didn't know how successful I was, right? They just counted my subs at the time. I says, listen, guys. Everybody knows each other, but we pretend like they pretend one is bigger than the other and this and that. I says, how about we do this? How about we create a union for a year and see how it works? We get our food. We get our food, everything paid for, right? We even get paid to come to the fights. How is that going to work? I says, these mega fights is only once every 3 months. What are you worried about it for? No, they need us. Oh, man, you only got 2,000 subs. I had less than 10,000 subs at the time. You only got, I says, listen, I says, guys, I run a business in LA. They didn't know at the time, you know. At that time, Deontay ain't never seen my Bentley. He came to my house later, and they're like, nah, we ain't gonna do it. Nah, we cool. I said, I'm telling y'all. Now everybody's still hustling. The media is just like the fighters. Media was just like the fighters. They just want to be media personnel. They don't want to be through perpetuity.
Yeah, man. That's why me and Fred, we out here being filmmakers and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's and when you look at the big picture, Al fucked this shit up. When I say Al fucked up, he fucked up royally. The first thing he should have did was buy a building on what's that side street called by the freeway in Vegas? What's that famous white guy named Old Blue Eyes? What's his name? Frank Sinatra Street. Yeah. That's the first thing he should have bought. He should have treated it like a business and not an opportunity. Al fucked this whole shit up. Al never gave Floyd the keys. Al never gave Floyd the keys to the Lamborghini.
That's probably why Floyd's still pissed off. That's probably why Floyd don't give a fuck.
No, it's obvious. It's obvious. Floyd don't even show up to PBC fights. If Floyd was involved, guess who would be talking at all these press conferences? Floyd Mayweather. Right?
And listen, say what you want about him talking for Tank. But it's name cachet. You know what I'm saying? People say people gonna go with what they used to.
Yeah, I mean, Floyd's not the greatest talker. He's just famous.
I'm saying, but niggas want to talk. Niggas want to hear him because he famous.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, he would have got better over the years. So now he would probably be who we would enjoy. You know, he would have got the used to it by now. But fuck the whole game up. If Floyd and Al were real business partners, fighting, boxing would be completely different.
Yeah.
Think about it from the aspect, the way Rick Glazer described Top Rank. And when you go into Top Rank's office, it's like a museum, dog. Next time you go to a fight in Vegas, when the weigh-in is over, Bob Arum is going to his office. He'll let you see the place. Seattle is going to be there all night. Go see it. It's a business, a real business. It's a real business. And the YouTubers are the same as the fighters. They're not thinking beyond these YouTube streets. Hopefully some fighters inspired. They watching. Numbers ain't changed. But now you understand what it takes to be here forever in boxing. You know, we had a great opportunity.
Man, this shit, man.
We had a great opportunity when Oscar's PR guy sent out those nigga emails. Had another opportunity there. That's the one we should have rolled on. This Terrence Crawford subjective shit. Man, come on, man. That's some bullshit. It's nothing concrete. We saw George Floyd get choked for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. We saw Rodney King get beat. We saw it. Terrence Crawford ain't gave us nothing to see. We had an opportunity in this generation. If you talking about you want to ride because you pro-black, it was those emails. Period. We would have won. You want to take down a promotional company? That was the opportunity. We missed it. I was ready to ride. People fell back in love with Canelo. I'm going to go to the fight. Hey, do what you do. I'm not mad at you. I still ain't went to a Golden Boy fight. Not doing it. So I left Senetica off the list on purpose. Keep it. Y'all want me to be. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like I'm not putting her on here.
You said you what?
I left her off the list on purpose because she signed. The other girl's not signed to Golden Boy. She used to be. What's her name? I trained at a Golden Boy gym and never interviewed her. Imagine that shit. Fred, why you never interview me? You know why, nigga. Fuck you mean? telling you. I was ready to go. We wasn't. You know, we want to talk black and be black and act black. 2016, we had boxing dead in the water. And I said it a million times. No one wanted to go with me. I wonder how many views that video got. That shit ain't even got 10,000 views, probably. Me talking shit about Al Heyman gets more views than what we really need, right? Shit got 1.2 thousand views. I did my part. I did my part. Shit got 1.2 thousand views. To everybody pro-black, this was the most important video that we're supposed to have. Look how hard I had to work to get in position to get Oscar. This went unappreciated. 1.2 thousand people. Look at this shit.
Hey guys, where to go, big guy? We gonna answer the emails, Oscar. Oscar, we gonna answer the emails. We gonna answer the emails about Al Heyman. We gonna answer the emails.
Look at this shit. Shit went unappreciated. No one respected. And that's when I knew we wasn't real. Y'all think I'm bullshit. I'm like, oh, this shit ain't real. We did the work. We had tangible proof. Got nigga.
Sure did.
We had nigga in an email. That's dead red. Dead red.
You didn't have your live show at that time, though, right?
Don't matter. I was popping. I was popping enough for somebody to pick it up from there. So here we go, man. You ready to get out of here, man?
No more B-mans?
Oh, I'm done. My voice is gone.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Fred, man, keep your foot on these niggas' necks. You know what I'm saying? We not workers. We not supervisors. Nigga, we bosses. In the words of the great philosopher DB, Fredro, play the song, Fred!
Floyd and Al had $2 billion between them, dog. And y'all call me the hater. And I did the Home Depot dude. This just before COVID. Man, I've been on my shit. I got so many videos about racism going to get these dudes. Nobody's ever done it but me in the history. This era of boxing, I'm the only person to do it. Everybody talk about it. Everybody talk about the shit. They don't do it. Man. Everybody talking. Nah. And I was making over $100,000 a year on this YouTube shit. Because every fight I went to, I was doing two of my videos did $2,000 or $3,000. I'm being 100. Don't make that shit no more. What's up? What's up?
Nice shit.
Oh, okay. It's sobering tonight, huh? I want to see that shit. What I call him?
Hey, if I'm such a yes man, won't you be me? Won't you be me and talk, nigga? Shit, fuck out of here. Me and Fred disagree a whole lot on this bitch. Fuck you talking about?
No comprendo. No comprendo.
Look at this
You're
shit,
not my
nigga.
friend right now. You're not my friend.
I did this shit for the culture, nigga.
This my personal statement. Run the game like I'm ASICs. Learn and develop patience, determined to be the greatest. Yeah.
Everybody talking on YouTube, right? I did this shit for the culture, nigga. Look, y'all talking about doing real shit for the culture? We ain't talking about dancing and rapping and acting and selling drugs. I did this shit for the culture in real life. Look at this shit. Niggas didn't ride. Niggas didn't want to ride. They want free tickets to the fight.
I want you to record this. I want you to record this.
Look at this shit, nigga. And this is not even a video. I can't find the other one. And I fucking rolled on his ass. And you know how long this goes? A year and a half ago. This is during COVID. Niggas don't want to ride, man. Niggas want to be financially rewarded for abiding in the racism. I'm not falling for it no more. I did the work. We got enough info to ride now. But we want credentials. We want free tickets. We want relationships. We want to be recognized. We want to be famous. We don't want to ride. I did it already. I did the work for us to ride already. I did it. I'm sorry, I didn't even call y'all names out tonight. I love all y'all. How about that?
We live in the boxing section.
We going to the boxing section, dog. Man, that was sobering the way I was sitting there like, damn. Al and Floyd fucked up $2 billion, and how he's describing, what's the guy's name? Bob Arum is what we should have had 10 times over. Damn. Wow. Love y'all, man. Love you, Kyle. Appreciate y'all.
I'll holler at you in a minute.